All right, guys, welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Press X Podcast, I guess. Going with that once again. Appreciate you guys joining me today and waiting patiently for the intro to finish up. No, Robert, absolutely not. We did enough of that yesterday. So, yeah, we have... Oh, I forgot to... Hold on. Update the... member goal. Hold on. Yeah, we have a lot to talk about today because a lot of information is coming out. The most recent information is apparently Sony's going to be announcing a state of play tomorrow. So, yeah, we're going to talk about that. Let the name remain. Well, the main reason I decided to bring it back was because I realized, like, every stream I do, I'm putting, like, 2 or 3 topics in the title. You know, I'm like listing topics, and I never get around to talking about them. So I figure I'll just put, like, one main topic that for sure I will talk about at some point during a stream. You know, it's the nature of doing a live show. Oh, I don't know, Unknown. We're going to find out. I didn't mess with it, so it might still be on. Yeah, apparently there's going to be a state of play announcement tomorrow. The showcase will remain a myth. Yeah, I think Sony might just be done with showcases, man. Pushing Polygon says, MBG, the storm has finally arrived. Remember how last week people were complaining about topics because it was quiet? Yeah, I did speculate that it seemed like the calm before the storm. Like, it was oddly quiet. There was like a dearth. It's my favorite word. A dearth of gaming news. It's my wife's favorite word too, as well. Shinobi 602, Michael Lynch. Did you see Microsoft has agreed to what is an industry first with a video game union? They signed contracts to raise wages by 13%. Is Microsoft trying to disrupt gaming? PlayStation Studios will want to be unionized. I'm not sure. I did see that. It is pretty significant. I'm not sure what the I don't know what the larger implications are there. We are streaming in 4K today, by the way. Not sure if you guys noticed. Waiting for Nate the Hate to confirm. Yeah, so we're not only going to be talking about state of play announcement apparently coming tomorrow, but we're also going to be talking about Resident Evil 9 because there are rumors circulating that the announcement is coming like this week. And we also have a bunch of details from, I think, the source that we're going to go over. A lot of people seem to believe that this source is not accurate, but if I recall correctly, this was one of the only people giving us actual, like, solid information about Resident Evil 8, and they were correct about quite a few things. So I don't know where the animosity for this individual comes from, but they revealed what seems to be quite a bit about Resident Evil 9. Whiskey Gaming, what's up, man? How you doing, bro? Michael, you're excited? Yeah, I'm very excited. Like, what I'm hearing about Resident Evil 9, if it turns out to be true, I'm very, very excited. Sounds like they're going all in with this one. Leon, we'll go over all the details. Yeah, we'll go over it all. PlayStation Studios, state of play only. You like the word bereft? I don't use that word. What's the definition? Deprived of or lacking something. Okay. We're bereft of a PlayStation showcase. Or finish saying you posted the SOP news on Reddit. People called me out. Dude, he's just saying happy birthday. Okay, well, listen. Shinobi, or sorry, not Shinobi. Shinobi 602 is the person that we're referring to. I saw, so it's my birthday tomorrow, so that's obviously when they'll announce the state of play, and Shinobi says happy birthday with a smiley face. I mean, if you look at the replies I don't use Reset Era, but if you look at the replies, it's, people seem to, this seems to be him teasing, like hinting that there's going to be a state of play tomorrow or an announcement. At the very least, Shinobi 602 is a smart person. He knows that even if he is just saying happy birthday, he understands people are going to think there's more to it because the person that he's saying happy birthday to is talking about a state of play announcement. So I understand, like, trust me, I get it. Even I'm surprised. Like, if he comes out and says there's no announcement, I was just simply wishing somebody happy birthday, I'll change the title and we'll clear everything up. Well, there we go. The talk to text is still on. Michael, I'm in agreement. I would like a showcase more than a state of play, but I cannot deny that the last 3 state of plays, the last 2 to 3 state of plays have been very solid. I know people disagree with that, but when you consider the fact that the way Sony used to do it is they would do one big show a year where they would reveal 3 to 4 to maybe 5 first-party things, give or take. Well, maybe that's too much. They wouldn't do like 4 or 5.
Plus, we're about to get an avalanche of new game reveals from different shows.
Okay, yeah, the first one wasn't read because it was muted for some reason. Yeah, guys, if you could do me a favor, please take a moment and hit that like button to help the stream out. It helps more than you know. If it's the only thing you can do, please do it. It helps quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, Michael. The past couple state of plays have been very solid, and they have had first-party reveals, and it seems like Sony's just kind of spreading the field, rather than doing everything at once. Halo and Gears at the state of play. Halo would be wild. I mean, Gears would be wild too, but that was already announced. But also what you're saying, Michael, is very true. Can you get a Crazy Arnold? Hold on. Michael, drop 5 membership gifts and I'll give you a Crazy Arnold. I'm just kidding. I'll give you one since you asked. There you go, bro. But it's also what you're saying. Like, there's multiple events happening, and there's going to be a lot of announcements. So it really, the thing that is surprising to me in a way is the fact that if the state of play announcement is happening tomorrow, that means it's happening this week. The state of play is happening this week. I mean, honestly, if the announcement's happening tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised if they're doing it on Wednesday. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just a little bit surprised that they would be doing it the same week as everything else. Only because I feel like you had the entire month of June, but it's like, okay, I guess in 1 week we're getting a state of play, Summer Game Fest, and the Xbox Showcase. I'm not complaining. That's good. That's a lot. I mean, that basically feels like E3 week, right? Corey, what's up, man? Maybe more Soros. Didn't Sony have a state of play 1 week before Summer Game Fest? They confirmed the release date of Spider-Man. They've done it before. Yeah, they have done it before. Sony going first. From the yeah. Summer Game Fest is on Friday. The Xbox Showcase is on Sunday. So if Sony is going to do a state of play, it's either going to be Wednesday or Thursday. Unless, and I'm not, to be clear, I do not think this is going to happen. This is just pure speculation. Okay. Hello, boss. All right. Okay. Well, there we go. Corey the Legend Landiga comes in, drops 5 membership gifts for Boss. Boss, he dropped the 5 bomb for you, bro, because he wants to get us to 25 so we can feed the beast. Thank you so much, Corey.
I'm no hero. Never was. Never will be.
Boss, don't you do it. Don't you do it, boy. Yeah, guys, if you want to help support the channel, help support the content, we are completely fan funded here. You guys are the sponsors of the channel. Consider dropping some membership gifts. See if we can get to our goal. You know, boss wants his treats. Clearly, please don't knock them. Don't knock that over. Consider becoming a channel member. Consider dropping super chats, direct donations. All of those things make it so that I can continue to do what I do here. And I really appreciate all the support, guys. Come over here. You got a whole cat tower, bro. A whole cat tower. Mulan, you're saying that's the thing we're going off of? What? In regards to the state of play? Well, you have to keep in mind, this is coming a week after Jeff Grubb confirmed Sony's doing something in June. Listen, I'm... Hold on. Boss, you're going to knock my coffee over, dude. You're... okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Guys, we're going to have to get to that 25 goal much quicker because he is, dude. He's like, you are not allowed to talk to your audience about this state of play until I get my treats, boy. I love how it's focusing in on his fur, bro. Okay. Wolverine? Is Wolverine going to show up? Phantom Blade Zero seemingly is going to be at Summer Game Fest. Okay. All right. Come on. Over here. If it happens, PlayStation will tweet it out. Boss is cute when he's up close. Yeah. I just get nervous he's going to like... He tries biting the camera, and I'm like, dude, this is an expensive camera. And Toolman55 comes in and renews his membership. He's contributing. He's contributing to the goal, and he renews it at Play Has No Limits. So, Toolman55, thank you so much for the support, bro.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Another Tomb Raider reboot at Summer Game Fest. Let me add that to the counter. Good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the support, guys. And Corey the Legend coming in with another 10 memberships for you guys. He's dropping the 10. He's doing the heavy lifting. He's doing it for Boss. See what you... Boss knows what he's doing. Boss knows what he's doing. He knows Corey's going to do it. Corey, thank you so much for that, man.
Holy shit.
And just like that, we are at 16. You're saying they ended up charging me. Dragonite, you're telling me they charged you for the membership gifts, but they never dropped them on the channel? There's no way, dude. Unless they did count, or like they did get distributed, but it just didn't happen on stream or something. Because that has to be a first, bro. Anytime I've heard that happen to somebody, they usually get the money back. What's YouTube doing? And Toolman55 comes in and drops 5 memberships for you guys. Toolman55, tag teaming it with Corey here. And just like that, we are at 21 members. So you guys are actually, you're making it happen. We're now 4 away. Where's Hellbound? Hellbound, I know you're there, bro. He's the one waiting. 4 away from being able to feed the beast here. Thank you so much for that, Toolman and Corey. Really appreciate that support. Dragonite, yeah, I'm sorry to hear about that, man. If there was something I could do for you, I would. But YouTube is the one that handles all that. They don't... I've tried contacting them before, and they're just like, yeah, sorry, bro. There is a chance, it is a possibility that it went through or something, but it just never registered while we were live. It's possible, because like there are times where people will like send a super chat shortly after the stream ends, and so I can't read it. It like technically doesn't show up, but it counts. You know, like the money that they donated and the message will still kind of be there for the next time I come back. So I'm not sure, man. But I'm sorry to hear that you're having a hard time with that. That sucks. There he is, Hellbound 1981. I knew it. I knew he's like sitting there. He's like, I'm waiting for my time to shine, bro. I'm waiting. Hellbound drops another 5 member gifts for you guys, bringing us up to 26. So you absolutely obliterated the goal. Boss can now feed happily. He didn't have to wait long. You excited, boss? You ready?
Boss, do you read me? It's time to feed the beast.
Here we go, bro. Enjoy, my friend. Enjoy. Thank you guys so much for the support. Seriously. Obviously, I'm always encouraging guys to gift memberships to hit those goals. Didn't think we were going to hit 25 members within just a couple minutes of going live. So thank you so much. We'll see if we can keep it going. And we're going to start diving into these topics. Hellbound says, for boss, bro. In the name of boss. Mulin, let me see. You're saying here... You're saying, I feel like we've had better hints. This is the least hinty hint. I will agree with that. This might be the least hinty hint ever. I will say a state of play before Summer Game Fest always made sense and likely will be the Resident Evil or RE9 as the headline. No new PlayStation Studios games. Otherwise, wouldn't go first. Hold on one sec. Luna heard me giving boss treats, so she wants something too. I'm gonna wait a minute so I can feed Luna up here so you guys can see her. Cause she like rarely makes an appearance on camera. Yeah, I mean when it comes to Sony doing a state of play before Summer Game Fest and before the Xbox showcase, it does call into question like whether or not they're going to have any major first-party reveals. The one major first-party reveal I can think of, but it might not be ready, is Santa Monica's new IP. But Sony has had a pattern that's been very strong where in January of 2024, State of Play, they ended with a major Death Stranding 2 trailer, the announcement of Fizzant, which is obviously going to be a PS6 game, but a major partnership. And then in May of 2024, they announced Astrobot, and it's releasing in 3 months. And they had Concord, for better or for worse. And then in September, they had Ghost of Yote. Come on, Luna. I don't know why she's so nervous. Come on. There we go. All right. Enjoy, Luna. We got a rare Luna appearance here. Man, she's getting big. What did Shinobi actually say? So somebody on Reset Error, they said, it's my birthday tomorrow, so that's obviously when they will announce a state of play. And then Shinobi 602 kind of came out of nowhere and said happy birthday, smiley face. And look, unless I find out that Shinobi is like actually going around wishing everybody happy birthday, specifically those who are anticipating a state of play on their birthday, see. And he did it in the PlayStation Studios thread. So I don't know, man. It would be a bit of a troll. It would be a little bit of a troll. But not an egregious one. A misunderstanding. Listen, I put a tweet out about it and it's gaining quite a bit of traction and I tagged him. So he could get annoyed. Maybe that's not what he meant, and he'll let me know. If he lets me know, I'll let you guys know. But right now, everybody seems to assume that's... Is it a reach? You think so? Am I going to stream the Xbox show on Sunday? Yeah, I am. Yeah, we're going to be streaming Summer Game Fest. We're going to be streaming the Xbox Showcase. He seems to imply something is going to be announced soon. So you think maybe the stretch comes in the form of the reach, I mean. The reach comes in the form of maybe he is hinting that something's happening, but maybe it's not necessarily tomorrow. You think? I don't know. Maybe I'm getting myself too hyped. I don't know. I just find the timing interesting because, like, everybody, like, Resident Evil 9 is trending, basically. And we're hearing that apparently it's 95% chance it's going to get announced at Summer Game Fest. I'm like, that's really weird. Because Capcom doesn't do that. Capcom announces Resident Evil games at PlayStation shows. They've done it since the PS4 in like 2014. They haven't changed that. And Resident Evil 9 is going to release on like the 30th anniversary of Resident Evil, which is a major title for PS1. PlayStation's always celebrating Resident Evil. I'm like, I don't know, man. Could there be some wires getting crossed potentially? The desperation for a showcase is palpable. I would agree. And, people are already complaining, like, even just based off the rumors, people are complaining that if it's a state of play, like, people are whining about it. I'm like, come on, man. Like, why can't, I don't know. I guess I'm just on a different page than some people, Maybe I am on a different page from some people because, like, I'm kind of like with Michael Lynch, where he's saying that even if it is a state of play, it's kind of okay because state of plays, they've been pretty good, you know? And if Sony does do a showcase, I mean, you do have to question, like, how much they would have the show. I'm still of the mind that if they wanted to do a showcase, they could fill it with a lot of gameplay. Absolutely. But the fact that RE9 has been in development since before RE8 as well almost guarantees Sony also has marketing. Well, that's what I mean, dude. Like, I just don't think there's any chance Resident Evil 9 isn't announced at a PlayStation event. 007 game getting revealed. Yeah, I was seeing people come in and say that it was just, like, randomly announced. Shinobi would not reply with such a cryptic message if he didn't know something we don't. He knows some people wouldn't misconstrue it. It feels, I mean, I'm prepared to find out that I misread this. I'm prepared to find that out, but I don't think it's a misread. Let me go further in the thread and see if he ended up saying anything else. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's not seeing any. Not seeing any updates. Corey Barlog's sci-fi PS5 game. You think that's what's going to show? The timing is too convenient. I mean, whoa, easy there. Is PS really going to take the wind out of DS2 sales this month by having a show hyping up other games? Well, what's interesting to me is that the June 8th Death Stranding event, I thought it was kind of peculiar. Like, why isn't that a state of play? And I think it's just because Kojima wants to do his own thing and Sony's just respecting that. That's the read I'm getting. Like, they let Kojima show off more of the game at, I forget the event, but it was an event in March that had nothing to do with PlayStation. And all they asked is, like, can you just put the PlayStation Presents thing? This event that they're doing on June 8th seems to be completely just a Kojima Productions thing. And my guess is that Sony's just letting him kind of do his own thing, you know? That's my guess. I don't think it's about trying to take the wind out of the sails. Like, and for all we know, Death Stranding, if there is a state of play tomorrow or Thursday or whatever, Death Stranding, or not tomorrow, like Wednesday or Thursday, Death Stranding could still show up at that state of play. I don't think Sony's worried about taking the wind out of the sails. I mean, we have to keep in mind, Sony released The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima literally 1 month from each other. I don't think they're worried about stuff like that. You think we need to drop the hope for a PlayStation Showcase? Like, Xbox fans need to drop the hope for still having exclusives? I will say, if they do a state of play and not a showcase, at this point, I think I would be convinced that, yeah, we're not getting any more showcases to like the PS6 or something. Well, yeah, that's another thing. Sony doesn't own the Death Stranding IP. Yeah. So with that probably comes a certain amount of freedom that Kojima has when it comes to marketing. Because I'm like thinking, like, how much different would the excitement be for Death Stranding 2 if this June 8th event was labeled a state of play? I think people would be paying more attention to it. A little bit more anyway, but we need to see at least one big first-party game aside from Yote at the state of play. Well, my guess is, keep in mind, there's some kind of God of War project that's supposed to be announced. So if we are going to get a state of play, the three most likely things that I could see happening are a Death Stranding launch trailer, this God of War project, this it's a smaller project, but it's a side project, and then revealing Santa Monica's new IP. That would be not enough to justify an entire showcase, but certainly enough to make it a very good state of play, I think, in the eyes of most people. Corey's still awaiting that Chrono Trigger remake, bro. Is this week honestly the best time bandwidth-wise from Sony? All the games they and others are launching and announcing? I mean, that's what's weird to me is, like, if everything's going to happen at one time, it's basically E3 again. You know? Yeah, Wolverine, dude. I mean, that's another thing. The Venom game, I'm not sure. I don't know if that Venom game is actually real or if it got canceled or if it's actually in development. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Wolverine. I mean, yet, so in the Insomniac hack, there were classified documents that came out that revealed they were planning a Venom game, a standalone Venom game. But what was confusing is one of their slides said that they were targeting a 2025 launch, but then a second slide said they were actually targeting a 2027 launch. So I don't know. I don't know. What I do know is that, you know, there's something bubbling under the surface here. You know, people are beginning to talk. Insiders are beginning to talk and tease. And I think we're going to be looking for clarification. You know, I'm tired of all the Debbie Downers, though, man. No offense if you're a Debbie Downer in here. I just want to get a little bit defensive for just a moment because it's like, dude, I'm tired of encountering people when I'm letting them know, like, hey, it seems like a state of play is being teased or something like that. And like when we were covering Jeff Grubb saying that there's going to be a show in June, and people are just nasty and are like, no, there isn't. Like, don't be an idiot. Don't be a fool. Stop believing the lies. Like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, what about all the times they were correct? What about all the times I tried telling people, like, Sony announced a state of plays 24 hours in advance, and they would freak out on me. You're like, you're wrong. And they would get mad. And then it's like the next day, the state of play is announced, and it's happening the next day. And they all go silent, but then they'll come right back out. They'll come out of the woodwork when we get something else, you know? I'm not trying to be like too defensive. It's just like, guys, it's not strange to be speculating that a state of play may be happening this week, especially considering last week Jeff Grubb said Sony's doing a show in June. And now Shinobi 602, he may or may not be giving us a hint, but it seems that a lot of people are reading it as he's straight up hinting that the announcement's happening tomorrow. I don't know, man. I'm not trying to overhype people, and I understand people are afraid of disappointment, but it's like, come on, like, it's not like the people that we're covering and the speculation we're having. It's not like it hasn't been accurate in the past. It's been wrong sometimes. It's been right sometimes. What if they add Venom to the Wolverine game? 2 birds with 1 stone. There you go. There's that development efficiency. That would be a wild combo, bro. You think some people are upset because they want the showcase? I mean, I understand that. I understand that people, if it is a state of play, they're going to immediately express disappointment because it's not a showcase. But I will stand by what I said. And that is, I would much rather have a good state of play than a bad showcase. You know? If Sony is afraid to put on a showcase because they're afraid they're going to disappoint people and it's not going to be good enough, good. Don't. I'd rather continue to wait. I don't want a 2023 showcase again. You know, I want just a good, solid state of play. I'll take that any day of the week over a bad showcase, bro. A bad showcase is devastating. Now, if it's a bad state of play, that's another conversation, but I don't see how Sony could make it a bad state of play. They would have to go out of their way to make it a bad state of play, you know, in spring or the beginning of summer. Yeah, the 2023 showcase was not good, man. Not good at all. Yeah, like the top reply, it's interesting. The top reply on my Twitter thread where I was letting people know that apparently state of play announcement might be being teased is somebody screaming no. We need a showcase.
I feel like with SGF having so many partners, any SOP would be first party focused.
I mean, speaking of Summer Game Fest, Mark, we have another insider, a Saudi Arabian insider, who he's been hyping up Summer Game Fest. Apparently, he knows a lot of the stuff that's going to be announced. And he's been accurate in the past. I think he just goes under the radar because, translation and all that. There's like miscommunication. From what I gather, though, he's hyping up Summer Game Fest quite a bit, saying that there's going to be some big games that people have been waiting for to be announced. And he did say, somebody asked him about PlayStation specifically. He said that there will be a big third-party exclusive. Now, I don't know if that could be Death Stranding. He could be talking about Death Stranding, but he could be talking about maybe like Phantom Blade Zero, even though that's not like there is no exclusivity deal there, but that's what he said. So we know PlayStation is going to be at Summer Game Fest. Saying this isn't some grand mystery, too many first-party games were canceled or reworked or reworked to have enough to do a full showcase. I mean, I think it depends, man. It depends. Like, it really boils down to whoever makes the decision to do a showcase at PlayStation, what a showcase is to them. Because I'm of the mindset that if you have one or two new, like if you can show Santa Monica's new game, that's a brand new first party reveal. show some Ghost of Yotei gameplay, show a little bit of Wolverine, assuming that's ready to go. You know, maybe show a live service. Maybe you could show the Horizon multiplayer if that's ready. Probably have to show Fair Games at some point. I don't know. I think that Sony could get away with it if they have enough, even stuff we know about, enough to show. Like Wolverine needs, like let's just face it, Wolverine, when that game is shown, it's going to be a complete re-reveal. The reveal we got back in 2021 doesn't really mean much because the game clearly didn't even exist yet. It was just the announcement letting people know that we're going to be doing this. Yeah, Saros could show up. There's enough there, I think, if the teams are ready to go, they could have a good showcase, but maybe whoever is in charge of putting on showcases at Sony, maybe they don't see it that way. They view it as, well, you know, for I don't know if it would be Herman or whoever. It's like, no, we need to have new game announcements. Like, we can't really, like, showing Ghost of Yotei wouldn't count. And I'm like, well, no, I think it would. Yeah, it'll be a hour-long showcase, 30 minutes of Death Stranding 2. The reveal was no different than the Blade announcement. Yeah, it seems to be like a Marvel thing that they want to do these like really early announcements. It helps, recruit people, developers and stuff. JMR, you're hyped right now? Well, let me go see if I can find any updates. I love how somebody posts "What a clown." Like, dude, shut up. Thanks for the engagement, though. No updates there. Let's see what else I can find. James Bond 007 First Light officially announced by IO Interactive. Reveal coming this week. That's going to be a big one. Yeah, not seen anything just yet. Shinzo? Who's Shinzo? Hold on. Did somebody else chime in? Oh, is that how they refer to Shinobi? Okay, Shinzo. I was like, wait, is there somebody else named Shinzo chiming in? Yeah, I don't know. People seem to be somewhat torn on this. So on the Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit, it's mod reviewed. It's being filed under speculation. It's funny because I'm reading the replies and nobody seems to be, not many people seem to be, interestingly enough, many of the comments on the Reddit thread are people basically saying that this is where Resident Evil 9 is going to be revealed. So, yeah, it's good to know that I'm not the only one. Somebody's mentioning the God of War side project. Somebody says they're sure Sony wants to steal some thunder from Nintendo Switch 2's launch. Oh my God, I completely forgot about that too. God. Dude, oh man. Three unannounced titles being released on PlayStation and Xbox. What are those three titles? What are those titles? Oh, no, you're saying you want RE9 and Kingdom Hearts 4? Nintendo Switch 2 launches Thursday with Mario Kart World, so bad time to market. Then Summer Game Fest on Friday, bad timing. Sunday is an Xbox Massive Show. Again, poor. So you got to go after or not at all. Well, maybe Sony views it like this. Maybe they're not confident that whatever they're going to show at the State of Play, they're not sure if it'll be a winner or not, right? If it is a winner, you create a big splash and people are going to be hyped. And they might move on quickly, but you won, right? You got big announcements, you put on a good show. If it's a loser, like if it's a bad State of Play, people are going to move on rapidly because it's like they don't even have time to be upset. It's like, I want to be upset, but now we got to go watch Summer Game Fest and then the Xbox Showcase. You get what I'm saying? And then all the Switch 2's out. So I wonder if maybe that would be the reason why they would go first, where it's like, frankly, a lack of confidence, where they're just not sure. They're not sure if, like, you know, the stuff that they're going to show, if it's going to land or not. And I don't know. I mean, this is all speculation, but the Resident Evil 9 situation is what's really got me hung up, because it seems clear that Resident Evil 9 is getting revealed this week. Everything we're hearing, that seems to be happening. And I'm like, You know, Sony did a State of Play in 2023 and they announced Resident Evil 4 Remake. It seems like they're doing the same thing. And in 2023, there was Summer Game Fest. There was the Xbox Showcase, and that didn't stop Sony from going first. I'm trying to remember. I think there was like a Spider-Man 2 thing as well. So there was something first party. Third party State of Play. If it's before Summer Game Fest. I don't believe that. Because, like, dude, Sony at the very least, they can show more Ghost of Yotei. At the very least. So it's like they're not going to not show anything first party if they do a State of Play. No, Wolverine's not canceled. Well, as far as we're aware, Wolverine has not been canceled. I think the last update we got may have been from Jeff Grubb, and he said that development is going pretty well. And Insomniac themselves kind of said, like, you know, they're still working on it, and they'll show it when they're ready. Man, if they got a Wolverine reveal in there, I would be very hyped, dude. Assuming it's actually going to be what I hope it will be. Assuming it's going to be good. Forza Horizon 6, Spyro 4, Halo Resurrection. Spyro 4, bro. Ooh, I don't know about that one. Forza Horizon 6 seems like a good one. I could see that showing up at the Xbox Showcase. I could see that being announced for PS5 as well. I mean, that would make sense considering they just dropped Horizon 5. Otacon, you're saying Wolverine's going to be a huge win. Well, Irfan, I know the whole game is out there already, but they changed directors, and it seems like they basically made some major overhauls and changes to the game. They announced Resident Evil Village at a showcase and showed it again at a State of Play. What remake will be shown? There'll be at least one. I mean, I don't know, dude. Like, I was kind of thinking the same thing, but I'm like, what's left to? I don't know. What could they do? God of War 2018? Oh God. I'm making a joke, but that's going to happen. Why is it? I don't know why, but God of War 2018 getting remastered seems like a joke. Like, we've seen Spider-Man remastered. We've seen Days Gone, which came out after God of War remastered. But for some reason, God of War 2018 feels like it's off limits. Like, you can't do that. I don't know why. Why is that? I don't know. It just kind of feels that way. They're going to have multiple remakes, bro. State of Remake. Corey just wants that Chrono Trigger remake. No, I don't think it's happening. It's low-key the only non-PS5 port. Yeah. Days Gone sounded like a joke, but here we are. And you know what's funny about that, man? I'm enjoying it. I have to admit. Like, I remember when we heard about Days Gone getting remastered, I'm like, what a joke. Like, we don't need that. But here I am. I have like 40 plus hours in it, and I'm like, I'm really enjoying this. I don't know. I guess maybe I just like the game that much. Halo Resurrection is supposed to be about the Arbiter being brought back to life in the campaign. Is as Arbiter? Could they have decided to go in a more multiplayer direction with Wolverine? I want to say no, because their roadmap stated that they're looking into doing X-Men games if Wolverine is successful. And I would imagine if they're going to do multiplayer like co-op, that would, well, I don't know. There was an Insomniac job listing I saw that they're still hinting at something regarding multiplayer. So I'm not sure. We usually get rumors of a PlayStation remaster before they get announced. Days Gone, Zero Dawn. Haven't heard any rumors at all about any new remasters. That's true. Yeah, nothing has been rumored in the remaster zone or the remake zone. Well, when it comes to this God of War side project, there was a offshoot rumor. It just came out of nowhere. I have no idea if it was true or not. We'll find out when it's eventually revealed. But the rumor claimed that it's a side scroller. It's like a 2D side scroller, and you're back in Greece. So I don't know how people are going to react to something like that. I kind of believe it because Eric Williams said if he was able to work on one game outside of God of War, it would be Castlevania. And I'm like, bro's making his own God of War Castlevania, isn't he? Oh, yeah, it's good. Instead of Wolverine, it's going to be X-23. Yeah, see, that's what I'm afraid of. Like what you got, I'm seeing some of the reactions. If it's like a side scroller, I think people are going to be somewhat disappointed. It would be different. And listen, keep your expectations in check. Just because there's no substance to that rumor. That was just a random post on the Gaming Leaks and Rumor subreddit a while ago that got deleted. But the person who posted it said, I'm just letting you know. And it's like one of those things where it's like they could have been legitimate, but they're just not willing to prove it. So it's like, I'm prepared for it to be that. But I have to admit, I would want it to be something else. Like, I think when people think of a side project, they think about like Miles Morales, Uncharted Lost Legacy, stuff like that, Infamous First Light. You would kind of hope it would be something like that. No, I'm not going to do that, Tarnished. God of War Atreus? I don't think so, man. No, I don't think they're doing that. Current Kratos would not be able to jump in a side scroller. Well, all right, let's go see what else is going on. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm just checking something here. Insomniac Games hints at a multiplayer game in development. The candidate will work with design, engineering, animation teams. Where exactly do they hint at the multiplayer? Mission design develops compelling linear gameplay scenarios or open world activities that tightly integrate other systems like level layout, narrative, combat, and progression. I don't know. You got to be careful when looking at the job listings. I say this because I did that for years with PlayStation Studios, and like half the projects that there were job listings for ended up getting canceled. So it's one of these things where it's like, is RE9 confirmed? We're going to talk about that in just a moment. The Resident Evil 9 details. It seems nearly confirmed that an announcement is happening this week. Gravity Rush is the next remaster / remake, Sony Pictures. Oh, yeah. That was rumored for a little while. I forgot about that one. Yeah, so when it comes to Resident Evil, there's a lot going on. A lot of movement, seemingly. Okay. So when it comes to Resident Evil 9, what we are looking at here is first we have a rumor from Where's it at? Can't find it now. Hold on. I don't think it got removed. Screenfire Germany. I don't know how reliable the source is, but they say Screenfire Germany was, to my knowledge, the first person to talk about Resident Evil 0 and Code Veronica remakes back in spring of 2024. Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, I didn't even think about that, dude. They talked about it before Dust Golem, IGN, and Andy Robinson from VGC posted about it. And they say here, it was translated from German, the following information is, of course, provided without guarantee, as I have no idea if anything will change here. But screw it. We'll see the first trailer for Resident Evil 9 at Summer Game Fest on June 6th, 2025, with a targeted release in the first quarter of 2026. I suspect it will be at the end of March for the 30th anniversary, because Capcom mentioned in their investor report that they don't expect any significant sales increase by Q1. That's why it has to be around the end of March. So it fits well with the anniversary of the series. So, this person apparently has some kind of track record when it comes to Capcom. They're saying 95% chance, basically, it's going to be... well, they don't say 95% chance. They say... Trying to read it word for word. We'll see the first trailer for RE9 at Summer Game Fest. So this is what's interesting, man, because it's like, if a state of play happens, I just feel like there's no chance. Well, we don't know if there's going to be a state of play. Right now, it seems like there's a decent chance a state of play will happen this week. If that is the case, I don't think there's any chance. I think there might be some mix-up here. Or is it possible that maybe they'll announce like Resident Evil 0 remake or something? Resident Evil 0 remake, maybe they give that to Sony and then they gave Jeff RE9. I'm not sure. But the reveal seemingly is coming this week, and RE9 is one that people have been really anticipating for a long time. JMR, you love Village. Doom, Hades hides from the Slayer, Kratos. Oh, yeah. What if Capcom wants a crowd reaction to feel the magic and emotion in the air? The hype of a live audience. I mean, it's an interesting theory. I don't know. I don't know, man. I want to know. We're going to talk about that, Capono. Yeah. We're going to talk about that in a minute. If the leaks regarding Resident Evil 9 are to be believed, it is going to be third person. And apparently it's not going to be open world. Yeah, so we're going to go over those details. Oh my God. My post on Twitter is blowing up, dude. Was not expecting that. People get so mad. I will never understand why people get so upset over potential leaks, you know, and rumors. Like major leaks I understand. Like if it's like revealing major plot points or something. But yeah, I just have to admit when I posted this on Twitter, it's got like 172,000 views already. I was not expecting it to get this much attention, but I think people are, what it reveals is I think people are very interested in these potential changes, which we're going to go over in just a minute. Okay, so let's go over the details here. Now, people seem to be very angry at this source, and I have to admit, I do not follow this source close enough to know why people are so angry with them. All I remember is back during Resident Evil Village, like back in 2020 and 2021, I do remember coming across this individual quite a bit, and they were, if memory serves, they were correctly revealing some information about what Resident Evil 8 was going to be. I remember this person basically was one of the people who was like, yeah, they're going to have like werewolves and vampires. And people were like, what? Like, stop lying. Like, that's not true. And it was right. And it did sound shocking at the time. Like people were, it sounded off-putting. Like, that's not Resident Evil. What are you talking about? From my understanding, it seems like this person does have communication with somebody who is completely familiar with the development pipeline of the main line of Resident Evil games. So I'll be honest with you, I do not know why people are so mad at the source, Dusk Golem. I don't know. Maybe it's just one of these things where he's giving too much information or he's saying too many things or he's been wrong about too many things. So I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm not out here to defend this individual. I'm also just making it known that I don't know why people are so upset. So with that being said, I want to go over this information that they provided. Because if it turns out to be true, Resident Evil 9 sounds like it's going to be really, really good. Like I'm actually pretty stoked for it. So they basically posted a summary of all the information that they've put out there regarding Resident Evil 9 and its development and some of its details stemming all the way back to, I think, like 2020. So he says, summary of everything I've claimed about Resident Evil 9 over the years. If you followed me closely enough, there's nothing too new here. But I'm just concisely stating everything I've said over the span of a few years about RE9. So there shouldn't be anything spoilery here, but like if you're wondering like who's going to be in Resident Evil 9, what's the setting? Is it going to be third person? Is it going to be open world? We're talking about stuff like that. So it says, I'm going in order, by the way. So there were various rumors over the years that made claims like there were going to be Native American is there going to be like a Native American Wendigo Blood Moon rumor or the Jill Hospital Goatman rumor? These are rumors that were all nonsense and were not true. Resident Evil 9 apparently started development as early as 2017 after initial sales of Resident Evil 7 at the time failed to meet their goal. And this title back in 2017 was greenlit as, quote, the opposite of RE7. So that's internally how Capcom viewed it. It said it started development as Resident Evil 8 rather than Resident Evil 9, knocking a direct sequel to RE7 that had started development in 2016 titled Village to be sidelined for a time. But Capcom didn't want a huge release gap between RE7 and 8, so ultimately became RE9 rather than 8 around 2019. So it basically seemed like Capcom was trying to decide what they wanted to do, if they just wanted to do something completely different with RE9 or go with Village. If they wanted to make Village RE, like, I guess hold on, let me see. It started development in 2016 titled Village. So it sounds like they transferred what they were thinking about doing with RE9 to RE8, or at least some of what they were thinking about doing. They didn't want a huge gap between RE7 and 8. It says the scrapped original version of Resident Evil 9 was an open-world co-op game set on a fictional Singapore island. The final game I heard is not set in Singapore. So this is interesting to me because I thought that that's what this was, but apparently that was scrapped a while ago. Jill Goatman. There are no plot points, no. If you're worried about plot point spoilers or anything, no. So it says Jill Valentine was the co-op partner in this initial version of RE9, but she plays no major role in the final game. The final game is not co-op, it's single player. So I'm curious what you guys think about this. Like, apparently, originally, they were going to go for, like, the RE5 co-op situation. And Jill was going to be the co-op partner. But they decided to scrap that and just make it single player, like one main player. I'm okay with this. Yeah, I'm okay with this. Co-op would have been cool, but I think I prefer the just single player, one main protagonist. Even if you play as, like, different characters, that's fine, but continues on here. This version of Resident Evil 9 was scrapped between 2020 and 2021, somewhere around Village's marketing cycle, and after the release of Resident Evil 3 Remake. Leon is still the main character of Resident Evil 9. This is viewed as, quote, the conclusion of his trilogy, end quote, carrying over character elements from RE2 and RE4 that are still in the general gamer's public consciousness. So, I mean, people are getting hung up on this where they're like, what about Resident Evil 6? I think when he says the conclusion of the trilogy, they are counting 6, but they're just basically saying that they're mainly going to be focused on the character elements from 2 and 4, which makes sense. Like, I don't know why people are like, this is where I get confused, where people are acting like, what are you talking about, bro? That doesn't make any sense. Like, that makes complete sense. Like, Capcom is ashamed of RE6, bro. Like, Capcom knows that they messed up. Like, they're not going to... Why would they... I'm just saying, like, the idea of them wanting to just kind of push Resident Evil 6 aside and kind of pretend it didn't really happen or not acknowledge it actually makes complete sense. People think, very highly of Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 4 and RE6. They just kind of like are like, yeah, I don't know about that. Doesn't mean they're going to retcon it. It's not going to be their focus. So it says here, Resident Evil 9 will be third person. That is such a major relief for me, dude. That's exactly what I wanted. I liked first person for a while, with 7 and some of 8, but I don't know, man. To me, Resident Evil's third person. It'll always be third person to me. Let's see. Resident Evil 9 will not play, quote unquote, just like other Resident Evil games or remakes. It is a reinvention of the series. once again looking back at the series' roots to evolve ideas from the original Resident Evil 1, but in different ways than Resident Evil 7 did. It's being made as a substantial evolution of the, quote, Resident Evil formula, a really ambitious project that has reanalyzed the series' core elements. So this is another really interesting one. The way Resident Evil 9 is being described is like something more akin to what you would expect with like Resident Evil 4 maybe, but they're going on record, whoever that was giving this information, that there's going to be like another reinvention, and I'm not sure what that means, because it's like, well, I mean, what could you reinvent at this point in time in Resident Evil, especially if you're bringing back Leon? It's going to be Resident Evil Fortnite. There you go. There's your reinvention. Says here, it will be using the RE engine tech advancements that were made for Dragon's Dogma 2, which were also used in Monster Hunter Wilds. It says, despite starting as an open world game, the final game, from what I've heard, is not open world, at least not any more than other Resident Evil games. There are bigger areas, but it is not a sandbox. So, really interesting. Like, this is what's really interesting about this information, if it's true, is that like it seems like whatever their original plans were for RE9, they were just like, walk it back. No open world, no co-op. And I think this is good because it does feel like it's kind of going back to, yeah, like in a way, like a more traditional Resident Evil experience. Open world would have been interesting, but concerning. Like I don't know. If I had to guess, they probably scrapped the open world because it just wasn't working. Like, I don't know how you do an open world in Resident Evil unless it's in like a city or something like that. So it says Resident Evil 9 will only have one campaign, but Leon is not the only playable character, but he is the main character. So I don't know what that's hinting at. I guess when he says one campaign, like you're not going to be able to play two separate campaigns as like, choosing between like Leon or Claire or something like that. Going back isn't reinvention. Yeah, that's what's interesting to me. Is like, I don't understand. Like, if you're going to reinvent the gameplay, but you're kind of, well, to be fair, it doesn't say it's going back. I'm using that terminology because they're talking about keeping it mostly linear or wide linear and not doing co-op. The next bullet point says Resident Evil 9 is a really ambitious game. It has the biggest budget of any Resident Evil game ever and has been in development for the longest amount of time, in total for about 9 years, trying to push above the series' expectations from graphics to audio and gameplay feel. They want RE to innovate and be the leader of the horror genre with this title. Resident Evil 9 will lean more towards the side of horror than action, despite starring Leon. From expectations set by Resident Evil 4, it will still have action present, but toned down. The horror will be amped up. So this, to me, is what's really interesting. This has to be the most interesting thing that I'm learning, where whatever the setting is going to be, it's leaning more towards horror. But there will be action. And I'm like, okay. I think that's good, because I'm almost beginning to read this as a scarier RE4 in a way, where RE4 definitely has some horror elements, but it does start to go kind of crazy. You know what I mean? And especially the action continues to ramp up more and more and more and more. And I always wondered, like, what if you could kind of capture the essence of how RE4 felt? Because there, like, I think more like towards the beginning of RE4, where it really did feel kind of horror-esque, and there was action and you were capable, but the beginning of RE4 compared to like the middle or the end, it's like, okay, like you're in full-blown action hero mode, I wouldn't say RE4 is scary.
I thought it said 8 years. It will be 9 years by the time it releases.
Yeah, that's true, Michael. I mean, It sounds like the earliest conceptual phases of Resident Evil 9 started in 2017 or 2016. No, 2017 is what they said. So if it comes out next year, yeah, that'll be 9 years. Ironic. You think RE4 on roids is what we need? We still have a little bit more information here. So it says the setting, and this is where I would love to get more info because we really don't know. It just simply says the setting has a really strong gothic horror atmosphere, very quote unquote witchy. So it doesn't say like what the enemy types will be. Like, are we looking at infected? Are we looking at creatures? It doesn't say, but it says it's going to have a strong gothic horror atmosphere. How are we feeling about that? I mean, I'm feeling it. You think it's better? They're leaning more towards horror. When is RE10 coming out? Well, actually, some of the stuff we're going to be going over we're almost at the end of this, but there's only a couple more things to read. It kind of hints at apparently what Capcom internally wants to do with Resident Evil. So it says Capcom, before Resident Evil 8 came out, did consider dropping the numbers for its future Resident Evil titles. But Resident Evil 9, to his knowledge, will have 9 in the title. Part of the reason they want to drop the numbers is to move forward to more unique stories in the Resident Evil universe rather than everything needing to constantly be tied to the series' legacy. Resident Evil 9 is going to be a quote-unquote conclusion game, but also a game of quote-unquote new beginnings. We'll see major status quo changes within the universe. It's being treated as the quote-unquote end of the story that started with Resident Evil 1 or Resident Evil 0 timeline-wise, opening the series up for different kinds of horror stories. Again, nothing radically new or substantial here, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And they say here there's one more thing I forgot to mention. I've said Resident Evil 9 was delayed twice in development, once during COVID and once due to the game needing more time to cook. It was slated for summer 2024 reveal / early 25 release before an internal delay, and it's being revealed this year, releasing in 2026. So, yeah, man. Interesting. We have Planet Schlorpian, a member for 19 months, says, I was being the anti-bitch recently and finally got further in
I'm
Silent
getting
Hill 2
Blair Witch
Remake.
vibes. That movie was scary.
And I wonder why it doesn't read the milestone chats. You're ready for more Resident Evil? Yeah, I mean, Silent Hill 2 Remake was amazing. And to me, that's a good... Silent Hill 2 Remake is a good game that I think nails action, where it is action heavy, but pretty much scary the entire time through. So if they're going for something more like that, I'm on board. And yeah, Digital Dude, I'm on board with that too. I mean, being in the woods, I don't know. I mean, I have to say the setting and the enemy types, it does sound like other characters from the Resident Evil universe will be in this game. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm reading it that way. You're saying Leon's going to die at the end. I mean, it's not like all of the Resident Evil lore hinges on Leon. It could be a mess. Yeah, I mean, Resident Evil games, they can be very messy. I don't blame Capcom for wanting to kind of not restart, but, you know, maybe soft reboot Resident Evil, where it's like, yeah, dude, if you look at the timeline of the Resident Evil universe, I mean, it's convoluted as all hell, and it gets really silly. So it's like, if they want this to be a kind of like, you know, they're going to wrap it up, I just feel like it's going to be tough because, yeah, there are so many characters, and you have to question, like, how much fan service do we put in, where if they want this to be like the true conclusion to the entire series so they can kind of move on and start doing brand new characters and just different types of stories. I don't know how you do that with just Leon. So that's why I'm assuming there will be other characters in the game, but Leon's the one you play as. And I love Leon. He's like my favorite character in that universe. So I'm on board, bro. Yeah, I'm stoked for this. I really hope it looks as good as I'm imagining in my head, and I hope that some of these leaks turn out to be true. Yeah, I will be doing. I will be live reacting to the Xbox show on Sunday. Yeah, so we'll be doing that. I'll be honest, man. I feel like Resident Evil lost me with 6. They started to lose me with 5 because 5, I was like, man, Resident Evil 4 is like peak and like the GOAT, in my opinion. Digital Dude, oh my God. This is a new type of Resident Evil. Oh my God. What was I saying? So yeah, they started to lose me with Resident Evil 5 because I'm like, it feels too action oriented. Like, I mean, making Chris like jacked, it's like, pure action hero stuff. And I'm like, all right, well, I can get behind it, but I don't know, man. Like I'm starting to kind of feel like you guys are really losing the plot here of what like Resident Evil is supposed to be. And then they're like, so here's Resident Evil 6, and they completely lost me. I'm like, okay, I'm out, bro. Like, I don't know what you're doing here. They got me back with Resident Evil 7 with the promise of greater horror, but I still felt like, honestly, Resident Evil 7 was not really truly Resident Evil. It was good, and I liked it. I liked it better than 6, of course, but then 8 lost me again. And they're like, so how about vampires and lichens and stuff? And I'm like, so like my hope is that Resident Evil 9 just really kind of goes back to that Resident Evil 4 peakness, but with a more horror vibe to it. Like that would be amazing. Josh, you're saying even you played 4 and you don't even play Resident Evil? Yeah, 4 was the GOAT. I got a GameCube for that game, bro. Or I begged my parents for one anyway. Hey, I'll be excited for State of Decay 3. Michael, you only played it for RE5 for a couple of hours. Well, I mean, I will admit, Resident Evil 4 did deviate. That's why I'm saying, like, I'm okay with how action-oriented Resident Evil 4 was. Like, I'm okay with, like, it really got kind of crazy towards the end. I'm okay with that. What I'm saying is, if with Resident Evil 9, they want to capture that, but actually tone the action down, and I think they could find an even better balance. If they can maintain some type of horror feel where you're still a little bit freaked out. And like, that's why I liked, again, Silent Hill 2 Remake is the entire time you're playing that game, it's just, it never loses that horror feel, no matter how strong you become or capable with the different weapons you have, you still feel like, I don't know, man, this is still pretty freaky. I feel like RE4 did lose that. It didn't become a worse game for it. I still loved it, but I'm very open to the idea of Resident Evil 9 trying to thread that needle of like, we want it to be action oriented. We want you to feel capable, and we want it to feel fun, but we want it to feel scary from the beginning to the middle to the end. If they can do that, that would be sick. I don't know how they do it though. Well, that's what I mean. You're right. See, I forget about that. You're saying vampires lost you, but 4 story trolls are peak. I mean, I won't lie. Like when I think of Resident Evil 4, the trolls are not the first thing I think of, but you're correct. Like that is totally like what? So it was a bit silly, and I guess I've kind of accepted that there's always been a little bit of silliness in the Resident Evil games. Truly. Even going back to the first game, it's a little bit of silliness. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, they got to go back to zombies though, right? Right? I feel like if this is going to be the game to wrap it all up and be like the end of the Resident Evil series, the saga, not the whole game has to be zombies, but you got to go back to that for a little bit. It has to play a role. I feel like you can't do that. You hope the puzzles are good? Hold on. Kato disagrees. He's saying, seriously, witches, vampires, werewolves, and possessed puppets equals trolls? Well, SOCOM Undead Annihilation could work. Unknown's like, wait, I'm somehow number one now. I'm telling you, the community thing is kind of broken. I don't understand it either. Resident Evil Diddy Village 9. Instead of grenades, you get flammable baby oil. Well, now we know why Resident Evil 9 had to get rebooted halfway through development. Let's not forget Magneto making a robot army. Seven and Village are amazing RE games. I'll die on that hill. I think they're still very good. And I'm open to Resident Evil doing different things. They should. I would love to know what ideas they have to expand the Resident Evil universe. But I guess they feel like they can't do that until they wrap everything up, which makes sense. No, Planet Slurpee, I did not know that. But apparently Digital Dude did know that. Yeah, I'm stoked, man. It sounds like there's going to be a lot of really good game reveals this week. RE9 is up there for me. RE9 is... I don't know if it would be my most anticipated, but it's got to be up there. Okay. Let's see. Nope. Okay. Alrighty. Oh, you don't know that, Digital Dude? You were just guessing? Good guess, then. Good guess. Too good, one might say. YouTube's always bugging out, man. RE9, The Fall of Umbrella. You're just glad they went with Leon as a protagonist. Wish it was Chris. No Chris game since RE5. I mean, yeah, I think it makes sense that if this is going to be like one to wrap it up, I kind of understand why they're going with Leon. I do think Leon is probably the most popular character. It's interesting to see Leon's arc. I mean, he went from like, rookie cop to being like John Wick badass in 4. So, and also in 6. I wonder, so he's going to be pretty old, right? Wesker's got to be back in some way, right? Oh my God, Digital Dude. He's going to have a big beard like old Kratos. Yeah, that'd be so funny. Like rugged Leon. They got to reinvent zombies. Don't just make them those bags of meat. They should be able to run and hide and things like that. I'm kind of like wondering. So if you look at Resident Evil 4, it was kind of like zombies, but more intelligent zombies. It's kind of like what you were saying, where they could throw stuff. They had some type of intelligence. They weren't just like these mindless walking, like you're saying, like meat bags that if you get too close, they might bite. Um, I'm thinking like, what if they did like, well, no, I don't think they could do that. I was gonna say, what if they did like 28 Days Later type zombies, right? Like, just they're not necessarily intelligent, but they're just fast and relentless. But the problem with that is that I don't see how you could do that and not make it like super action packed. And we have a wall roar here with a $2 tip, which I'll add that to the goal here. Thank you for that, buddy. You're saying late to the stream, but what games do you expect from the Xbox showcase, and do you think we will see hardware? Buy me an alpha build for the new UI. Well, I'll be honest, I'm not exactly sure what that last part is you're saying, but I mean, I'm expecting quite a few different games to show up at the Xbox showcase. I will be probably doing a dedicated stream going over my predictions for you know, for both the Xbox showcase as well as Summer Game Fest. But I'm expecting to see more for like Gears of War E-Day. I'm expecting more Fable, maybe more State of Decay 3, more Perfect Dark. I expect to get a lot of updates on games that were already revealed. When it comes to new game reveals, I'm not sure. I'll be honest with you, man. That's where I feel a lot less confident. Not to say that there won't be game reveals. I think there will, but I'm just not sure like what studios of theirs are ready to go versus which ones aren't. So I'm not sure, man. I haven't been paying as close
We need
attention
George
to
Romero zombies back.
Xbox Game Studios. Planet Schlorpy and George Romero zombies. Those are like the most classic type of zombies, though, right? Oh, maybe a new alpha build UI for the handhelds. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you ask about hardware. Maybe they'll show the Asus Xbox handheld. They could do that. I could see that happening. And yeah, maybe they'll show off like the UI and stuff. But I don't know. I don't know how much excitement there's going to be for something like that. It'll be interesting if they do. But when it comes to the next Xbox console, I don't expect that to show up at all. No.
How many Xbox games will actually look good?
Well, I don't know, man. Michael, that one's tougher because I don't know, like we saw Perfect Dark and I feel like it looked okay. It didn't look like bad. But it didn't look like something that I'm like stoked about. I think what we saw of State of Decay looked good. Fable, I think Fable's the one I'm most curious to see if we get more gameplay because they showed some alpha build gameplay and the combat looked kind of rough, man. The combat looked very very stiff, and that is concerning to me because like yeah, I mean, Playground Games, they've never done combat before. Forza Horizon 6 is a good one that could be there. I think that would look good. Not sure if we're getting anything Halo. If anything Halo shows up, I actually think it'll be like a PlayStation announcement and a Switch 2 announcement. Truthfully. Titus, you liked Perfect Dark? Yeah, it didn't look bad. For me, it didn't look very compelling. E-Day, the trailer for E-Day was pretty sick. I imagine if we do see Gears E-Day, they're going to have gameplay. I think I saw a snippet of gameplay for that Extinction, but I'm not sure what that game is. Fable always had bad gameplay, so it fits. You think so? Yeah, apparently CD Projekt Red is going to be showing up tomorrow to show some technology for some kind of Unreal conference or whatever. Factor of Darkness. I did not know that. Crackdown 4. Yeah, please let Crackdown 4 show up. Oh, man. Oh, boy. Here we go. I mean, I have to be honest in that, like, the only game I'm really, like, I want to see this game, like, I'm ready to be super excited for it, is State of Decay 3. Outside of that, I mean, I don't want to, like, I don't want to overhype any other Xbox studio, maybe except for, like, Forza Horizon 6. Maybe Forza Horizon 6 and State of Decay 3. I think those are the two games from Microsoft Studios that, like, if they show up and we see, you know, good presentations, I'll be pretty stoked. Hoping they'll both come to PS5, of course. Do I think the announcement tomorrow is for Thursday? I'm more inclined to think it's going to be Wednesday. Truthfully, I think Sony just doesn't give a shit anymore, dude. They're like 24-hour notice. Here you go. State of despair. Am I getting the digital deluxe edition of Ghost of Yotei or the Diddy deluxe edition? Digital, dude. I'm not. I don't even know what to say. You think State of Decay 3 looks boring? I mean, some people, yeah, I've ran into quite a few people who are not fans of State of Decay, but I don't know, man. I'm a sucker for that game. I hope 3 is much bigger and better than 2. I hope so. Crackdown 4 being announced would be quite the surprise. That would be a fun one. Just because of the Crackdown 3 meltdown that I had. Yeah. The memories, bro. I've seen people speculating Spyro 4, and I'm like, I don't know about that. I just like bad games. It could be. It could be. Yeah. Third-party Game Pass reveals that'll be the most interesting. What deals they've struck. I will be curious to see what deals they've struck. Yeah, because I'm inclined to think that maybe they slowed down on that. Maybe the opposite, though. I only say that because, I mean, I don't know. They have so many studios now, and they're releasing so many games. I don't know that they feel that they really need deals, but yeah, there's probably going to be something. Double Fine, yeah, they could show up. Bro, why you got to do that to me? Yo, I'm actually mad at you, Vic. I read that, and until I got to the end, I got very excited. I was like, yo, God. Oh, man. Bro, okay, you got me with that one. You got me with that one. They had me in the first half, bro. Are we for sure getting a PlayStation announcement? I don't want to say for sure. No. Like, keep in mind, we might not get it tomorrow. And if that's true, then it means that Shinobi 602 was genuinely just wishing somebody a happy birthday. But it just, I don't know, man, the timing of it. Trying to see if there's any updates. Did anybody else chime in? Oh, man. Dude, why are my tweets trending this much? State of S. Oh, man. Dude, the PlayStation hate is real. Yo. Hold on. I want to see if I can bring this up on screen. The PlayStation hate is real, bro. Come on. It's not going to let me, is it? Damn it. I will never understand why sometimes it lets me show images and other times it doesn't. It's basically Baby Steps remastered. So the most upvoted replies on my tweet regarding the possibility of a state of play being announced tomorrow are, let's see. So the most upvoted reply is somebody screaming, "No, we need a effing showcase." Somebody else posting the state of play ? And then it's the GIF of Tom putting himself to sleep. Somebody else saying state of ass. I'll tell you what, though, man. I'll tell you what. If they are doing a state of play, I'm gonna be real careful about I'm gonna have to think real hard about what I want to do when it comes to the chat, because I'm not allowing that energy. I'm not doing it. Not again. I've been down this road one too many times where I don't know, man. I will be excited for the state of play. I'm not going to let people ruin my excitement. Gaming Survivor. I don't even know if he's here right now, but I don't know. Maybe Rich Rod does become mod for a day. All right, maybe not. That's taking it too far. Oh, you are here. Okay. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Gaming Survivor going to have to be on point, because I ain't dealing with that, man. I'm not saying people got to be toxically positive. You don't have to be toxically positive. I'm not trying to force that. Yeah, bro, I don't know why that tweet's blowing up. I was not expecting that. The Resident Evil tweet. But it's going to suck if Dusk Golem is completely wrong. It's going to suck for him, because it seems like my tweet about it gained more traction than what he actually put out there. So I hope it's correct, because it sounds pretty cool. I want it to be what I'm reading. Who yelled at MBG? No, nobody yelled at me. Luckily, not yet. Not yet. It's basically people just already dooming the state of play, if there's even a state of play. We didn't even get the state of play announcement. There's people already dooming it. And I'm like, guys, can we just don't watch it? That's my whole thing. If you're first, and I'm not trying to be rude to anybody here, I'm going to use the term crying. Okay? If you're disappointed, that's fine. But for the people who are immediately crying, don't watch it. Just ignore it. Pretend it's not even happening and go watch the Xbox show or Summer Game Fest. That's the problem, dude. I feel like people, they like to cry about things too much. Like me with The Last of Us 2. That's me yesterday. Bro. That's the burden of winning. PlayStation's on top. It comes with the territory that people come after the king. I mean, I get that. I understand. There's some stuff they deserve, but people, I think they go so crazy with it, where it's like, hey guys, they're doing a state of play tomorrow. It's like, state of ass, bro. Sucks. Okay, we don't even know if there's going to be one, and we don't know what they're going to show. It's like, doesn't matter. It's like, oh, okay. I feel like we're at a point where Sony could release good games, and people are still going to be like, where the games, Sony? Huh? Where the games, bro? It's like, we just put one out. You can play it now. It's like, no. Where are the games though? Where are they? It's actually, dude, it's pretty funny, man. Sometimes I feel like the relationship between the internet and PlayStation is kind of like a Key and Peele skit. Michael, you're in touch with your emotions. That's good. That's good. It's good to be in touch with your emotions. You got grown ass dudes out here acting hysterical. Oh, that's going to be me. That's going to be me, Gaming Survivor. We make an exception for me, though. Oh my God, I still didn't buy my wig. Gonna have to go wig shopping. Yeah, text my wife and remind her. It's getting real, man. It's catching up. It's catching up to me. Why am I simping for PlayStation? Well, I'm not simping for PlayStation. I just like PlayStation. I feel like simping for PlayStation would be constantly defending everything they do, and I certainly do not defend everything they do. It's in the PO box. Uh-oh. That's true. Whenever they ask where are the games, they're asking where are the games that I want. And Jake Skew 28 comes in and drops a single membership gift. I already have the Satya wig ready to go. Jake Skew, thank you so much for that. Yeah, guys, if you want to keep the member train going, we could strive for a second goal of 50. I'll do some reps. All right, it's been a while since we did some reps. My Resident Evil shirt that looks like it's about to tear off, bro. This shirt is way too tight. I got this shirt like years ago, and it just doesn't really fit anymore. What's up, guys? I'm not flexing. This is just how buff I am at rest.
For example, can get a 93 on MC. Clearly something about it is good, no? Why does such a talented studio like indie get shit?
Yo, where's Robert at? He's about to have a meltdown because I'm about to talk about The Last of Us from a super chat. No. Jake, first, let me add your membership to the goal here. So there we go. 27. Planet Slurpian. Let me see. Oh, well, Planet Slurpian, the answer to that is really simple. It's because people are not able to remove their emotions and be objective. Sometimes I'm not able to. It's relatively normal in certain instances. Sometimes you can't remove your emotions, but when I'm trying to have objective conversations about something like The Last of Us Part 2, yeah, a game like The Last of Us Part 2 does deserve a significant amount of praise, objectively speaking, because of the raw talent that's on display through the gameplay itself and the presentation and the production value. These are all things that absolutely deserve to be praised because they're not easy. And no matter how much you despise a game, whether it be because of plot points or the political alignment of the studio, you know, people let their emotions cloud their objectivity. And you know, it's not exclusive to The Last of Us. It happens with many things. And it's unfortunate because, you know, it's important to be objective about things. It is. It's important to be objective about games when we're analyzing games and we're trying to figure out, like, well, what are the pros and the cons here? And this is why conversations across the internet have fallen apart a bit too much. We're not talking about The Last of Us. I'm talking about people being objective towards video games when they discuss them. All right, we've talked about The Last of Us way too much in the past couple of weeks. But, you know, you could put many different games in the place of The Last of Us Part 2. And people, you know, you're going to encounter a lot of people where they're not willing to be objective. You know? They're not. It's why I don't know, man. To me, conversations that hinge around the idea of something is either the greatest thing ever made or the worst thing ever made are not interesting. I've always said that, and I will continue to say that trying to, trying to just put something in a single category, something that's very complex and very deep, which video games are most of the time. There's a lot of moving parts into just one category. Like, it's garbage. It's the best or it's garbage. And it's like, that's not, like, that's just a crappy way. Like, my question to people like that is like, how do you enjoy video games if that's how you see things, if that's the lens that you view things through? I can appreciate the simplicity of it, where it's like, for example, you think about Elden Ring Night Rain, right? And I've seen, hello, Leia. Hold on one sec. Sorry about that. I may have to go grab a package that might be too heavy for me. Okay, hold on. Guys, wait 1 second. I'm going somewhere with this conversation. I'll be right back.
My dog tried to rescue a possum playing Dead Lane.
All right. Sorry about that. I just never come back. Yeah. I just leave the stream on like this for like 2 more hours. Planet Slurping, you're saying your dog tried to rescue a possum playing dead. Wow. That happened to me before, where there was a possum in my trash bin, and I thought it was dead, but it was playing dead. And I was like, I'm just gonna I don't know what to do, so I'm just gonna walk away. And when I went back out to check on it again, it was gone. I'm like, oh. What I was trying to say, though, is you think about a game like Elden Ring Night Rain, and there are people who, they see something like that, they're like, okay, Miyazaki's not involved. It looks like an asset flip. It's multiplayer only. It seems to be kind of like the opposite of what we expect in terms of single player deep RPGs. And, there are people where their response to that is just, oh yeah, it's garbage. Trash. I'm not interested in that trash asset flip. And that's like fine in a way, where it's like, okay, it's just not for you. The problem is when people feel the need to impose that on others. That is the problem, ultimately. It's not that people have opinions of like something's the best or something's the worst. It's that usually people who dwell in those spaces of extreme thought, like this is the best thing ever made or this is the worst thing ever made, they have this kind of impulse, not everybody, but a lot of them, where now I have to impose that on people. And it's like, or you could just not. Because there is a difference between having an open dialogue and an open discussion about why something may be the best or why something may be the worst, and being willing to agree and disagree, and push and pull a little bit. There's a difference between that and just being like, no, everything I'm saying is correct. And if you don't see that, then you are the problem. And it's like, that conversation is boring. That conversation is boring. That's not a conversation anymore. That's an argument. And arguments, I mean, I'm not saying they can't be useful sometimes. On rare occasion, you can get through to somebody by arguing with them. 9 times out of 10 on the internet, though, you're just, you're wasting your time. So, I've seen regular chatters here say positive things during SOPs and then get relentlessly attacked in chat. That's not happening next time. The hammer stands at the ready. Yeah, man. I mean, again, I'm not trying to like force positivity or be toxically positive. It's not about that. It's about finding a reasonable place to exist. That's all. Too many places these days, it's all about being one way or the other. And I don't understand how people don't get bored of that. But I guess it kind of comes down to like people want to hear what they want to hear. People go to places like YouTube channels or certain podcasts or certain forums or whatever where they know like it's a safe space. And I get that. I know that sounds funny, but like that is how a lot of people behave. Like that's why they feel like they can be comfortable and it's a safe space. And it's like I want to create that feeling to a degree here for people, but I don't want it to be like to a weird degree where it's like you can't say anything about PlayStation, in a negative way. You can't do that. But I don't want it to go the other way either, where it's like, well, if you have a couple good things to say about PlayStation, you're just going to be labeled a fanboy. Like, no, like neither of those things are interesting and not true for 99% of people. All right. God forbid somebody has an opinion. Banned. No. See, Wes, that's the thing, man. Like, I don't know. I'm in like this point of my life, dude, where I'm trying to like genuinely improve myself. Not saying that I haven't been in the past. I have, but I don't know. I feel differently about things now than I did, say, like 3 years ago or even 4 years ago. Invite guests to the podcast. I've thought about it, but I don't know, man. I'm a loner. I've always been a loner in this space. Does that only apply to summer or State of Play or also Summer Game Fest and Xbox Showcase? It applies to all of them. Like during the Xbox Showcase, I don't want to see people being like, Xbox is trash, garbage, dumpster juice. All right, that would be pretty funny, truthfully. Like, but it's like, okay, if somebody says that one time, just like if somebody says one time in the chat, like PlayStation State of Plays are garbage, and that's it. They just say one time, whatever, bro. I don't care. It's like certain people where it's like I'm gonna make my presence known, and it's just gonna be the same thing over and over again. Where it's like, okay, we get it, man. Like you're hate viewing, whether that be for Xbox, whether that be for PlayStation. To me, I can't tolerate that because it's like I'm gonna help you out here. Go away. Don't hate view. Go do something that brings you joy or something you're genuinely interested in. But that's the thing. People genuinely do find joy through hating on things. And that's a whole nother issue. But old MBG wouldn't agree with this current MBG. It's true. To a degree. It's true. And I don't know. To me, it feels good because it feels like I've matured a little bit. It feels like I've grown up a little bit. But, other people, I get it. It's like they probably view some of my older takes and stances as like, no, that was better. And I get it. But, people change. PlayStation State of Plays are garbage juice. Ah, yes, meet the cheater. I can see we're on the same page. That's a wild insult, man. Hate watching is crazy. It is. It's more fun when there's action in the chat. You think I changed to a doomer? Maybe sometimes. Yeah, maybe a little bit there. I've changed to a doomer. Isn't that called personal growth? How is that a bad thing? Young Xbox MBG would beat up old PlayStation MBG. We got like a young Kratos versus old Kratos thing going on here. But yeah, man, like when we stream the Xbox Showcase, look, I understand like there's going to be overall maybe some people less excited because we are a PlayStation channel. However, I do think, it might be a little bit different this time. I do. And I think it'll be different this time because there's no reason. I think there's less of a reason than ever before for people to hate on Xbox. I think it's fine. People want to make jokes sometimes about PlayStation, about Xbox, and that's it's the jokes. But in terms of people like really trying to stir the pot, I mean, I just don't expect that to occur during the Xbox Showcase because it's like, bro, chances are most of the games here, or a lot of them, are going to be announced for PlayStation. Worst case scenario, you're not interested in it. It's not for you. I don't know. I'm just trying to get to a place where people are less hyperbolic about with their reactions to things. I just think that would be better. I do. I think that would be better. Where it's like you see something that excites you and looks nice, be excited. Express your excitement. You see something that looks terrible and awful, express it. But it's just, I keep thinking about like the last state of play. I really do. Like I think about the last two state of plays and how like, bro, it just is not fun to me when the show ends or as it's happening. I go and I check the chat and it's like, it does get me to a point where it's like, I'm over here being like, bro, holy shit, Housemarque's new game, Saros. And like, there was like 6 different games that were shown in the last 10 minutes that look good. I'm like, this is pretty sick, dude. And I check the chat and it's like, not all of the chat, but so much of it is just people being like, that was awful, that was trash, that was garbage. And it's like, I'm going to have to create an echo chamber, apparently, because it's like, that's fine that you feel that way. I don't want that. Like, I'm not trying to meet that energy. And I feel like it just gets to a point where it's not that I want to be unwelcoming to people with differing opinions that are like, I didn't like it. I'm not interested in an overwhelming amount, a large crowd that basically is barely ever even going to be here in the first place. They're only here this one time to just dump on it and then move on to the next thing. I want that, whoever those people are, I want them to go somewhere else because that's where they belong. Where it's like, dude, there are channels dedicated to hating on this thing that want to just shit all over it, no matter what's shown. Why wouldn't you rather be there? Yeah, like with the Ghost of Yotai reveal, where it was like, dude, I was trying to be excited because I felt excited. And then the only thing that brought me down was like people losing their minds for some of the dumbest reasons in the chat, where I'm like, what is going on? And the marathon situation, that's getting crazier, dude. Where like the marathon situation, I have to admit, like there are valid reasons for people to be, I don't want to say hostile. Maybe that's a bit intense. There are people who are hostile towards the game, but overtly negative, where like they show the game, it looks okay, right? Doesn't look like anything special. At the very best, it looks okay, And then from that point forward, it's just more bad news. Like, here are things that are not going to be in the game. You're saying I didn't like... No, I know I didn't like Marathon. But notice though, Wes, how I didn't jump on it and be like, this is a piece of garbage and I'm never going to... Like, Sony, what is this garbage you're showing me? I didn't treat it that way because that's not what I saw. I saw something that looked potentially very, as they would say, mid. Something very mid, something very uninspired, something very like... I want to see something that makes me feel like I can't wait to play this. Not seeing that with Marathon. And then after that, I see more raw gameplay from the alpha, and I'm like, okay, This is looking more and more uninteresting every time I see it. And then it gets to a point where, you know, the allegations come out of, hey, they stole my art. And then it's like, holy shit, they actually did. And then it just gets to that point where, yeah, bro, this game looks like it's cooked. That's not in some kind of, that's not in some kind of hostile way or, again, like overly exaggerated negative way. It's just like, it ain't looking good, man. It ain't looking good. You think if the state of play is announced tomorrow, it'll be on Wednesday? And so, yeah, like, you see what I just did there, though? You see what I just did there where, like, I'm explaining what I don't like about Marathon, like why I think Marathon doesn't look very good or why it looks underwhelming or why I think it's going to fail. That, to me, is interesting. And that's what I wish more people would be willing to do. And a lot of you here right now, most of you, are willing to do that, which I appreciate. But yeah, in instances when we're watching shows, I know it's asking too much. I do. I know I can't expect there to be hundreds of people, potentially 1,000 or more people here. I can't expect all of them to give in-depth reasoning for every game. I can't expect that. But, my hope is just that people don't give stupid reasons at the very least. That's what bothered me the most about Ghost of Yotei, man, where, like, people's reactions, for every one person I saw being like, where's Jin? What happened to Jin? Question mark. I saw like 4 other people being like, they killed off Jin. They replaced Jin with a what do they call it? A girl boss. There we go. That's the term. And I'm like, okay, one person's asking a question that I too am asking, where it's like, oh, where's Jin? What happened to Jin? This is different. Not exactly what I expected. And I'm hoping to get an answer and anticipating we're going to get an answer, which we did. The other person is just being stupid. Like, and that's what I can't tolerate anymore. I have no tolerance for it. Like, it would be better for me to be stupid. It would be easier for me. I'd get along so much better on the internet. I'd make so much more money. I'd get so much more attention. But I just can't do it because it's like, bro, you don't know anything about this game other than that it's a new protagonist and it's a female. And you are projecting so many asinine assumptions with no proof of anything. You're just jumping to that. And then people see that and then they follow it and they're like, well, yeah, I'll say that too. And like, yeah, let's all get together. It's like, and this is why I've maintained my stance with Ghost of Yotei, because yeah, when I saw the internet's reaction to this game, at least when I was streaming it, a lot of people out there, who were trying to ask the right questions or who had some kind of genuine interest or excitement were getting drowned out by people who were just screeching some of the dumbest shit. And that is what I'm no longer willing to tolerate. And yes, that goes for everything. That's not exclusive to State of Plays. That's not exclusive to, PlayStation stuff. I don't want to see that shit for Xbox either. Where it's like, if you see an Xbox game at this showcase that you think looks awful, I mean like a joke, you have more than enough characters to express that in a reasonable way. It's just a matter of weeding out the dumbasses. I'm going to be honest. Like that's what it boils down to, man.
70% towards FF7 Rebirth Platinum. Don't forget Domino's 1 large 2-topping pizza $6.99 carry out only. Will not be watching channel on cruise, no internet.
Well, thank you for letting me know, PlayStation Pete. I got Domino's last night, bro. You'll be happy to know. I got Domino's last night. It was pretty good. I got pineapple bacon. I know for some people that's absolutely cursed, but sincere trash talk gets overly repetitive to me. Don't know about the rest of you. Oh yeah, that's what I mean, man. It does. Like, and that's why I've realized like I do need to shut up about The Last of Us Part 2, because it has reached that point where it's like it's not even that people would disagree with me. There are probably plenty of people who would agree with some of my, not all of my takes, but some of them. But it's like, oh, okay, man, like we gotta talk about something else. And wow, that really upset some people. Everybody knows only intelligent people eat pineapple on their pizza. Only the most intelligent. It's been proven. People who eat pineapple on their pizza or put pineapple on their pizza, they have a higher IQ. Sorry, I have to be the one to break to you. See, okay, gets it. He says pineapple bacon is much better than pineapple ham. Yeah, pineapple ham is the more traditional one. My wife turned me on the pineapple bacon, and I'm like, yo, that's no joke. I guarantee like half the people who are against pineapple on pizza, if they had it with bacon, I think they would be like, you know what, actually. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying, Meet the Cheater. It's okay to disagree. It's fine. But we can both be in agreement that maybe I talk about it too much. It's time to move on, you know? But yeah, man, I'm excited for these shows, and I'm not asking people to be overly hyped. I'm not asking people to, you know, hey guys, come on, like it's gonna be the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm not asking for that, but I'm also not asking for people to go and be like, oh my God, here we go. You know, it's gonna be the worst thing ever. It's like, let's just be normal. You know? Let's just be somewhat normal, you know? Aren't you preaching to the choir at this point, as this isn't the crowd that does that during the big streams? That's true. Yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. You're right, Pushing Polygons. The people who are here now, you guys aren't the ones that do this. I guess it's just because I know that, like, anytime I do these streams, and this is why I have considered, and I will do it if I have to. I'm not locking it in. I'm not going to say I'm doing it for sure, but if things start to get too out of control or whatever, I will do members only chat for portions of these streams. I don't want to do that. You know, it shouldn't have to come to that. And I'm not going to say anything either. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to encourage trolls or anything. It's just like, I just want people to feel like they don't have to be afraid of getting attacked 6 different ways from people who, again, aren't even going to be here during the next stream because they're expressing some kind of excitement or opinion or disappointment. You know? People should be allowed to express what they want to express. And I also don't want to create an environment where people feel like they got to be one way or the other, because that bothers me the most. Let me tell you this. And, you know, I'm going to go on a bit of a diatribe here. Let me tell you, man, if there's one thing that I have truly grown to despise, without exaggeration, on the internet in 2025, in specifically places where in enthusiast circles, or if not enthusiast circles, just places where people talk about video games and the games industry, it's not prevalent everywhere, but it's more prevalent than ever before. It is the echo chamber. Like, God, man, it's I have seen some of the worst stuff where it's like people will go so far out of their way. They will do anything to avoid acknowledging certain things. They cherry pick, man. And I'm not even saying that picking what you want to talk about versus what you don't want to talk about. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm saying when people position themselves in what we could call like self-righteous positions, right? Where they're holier than thou, and they the way that they view things and the way that they talk about things, they're right, and everybody else who disagrees is wrong. If you want to put yourself in that position, but then go out of your way to cherry pick what you talk about and the way you talk about it, and kind of just either ignore certain things or hope that people don't notice other things, I cannot stand that. because that's what a coward would do. Or if not a coward, somebody who is desperately they're so afraid of their own audience turning on them. And yeah, that's where the term audience capture comes from. And I see now more than ever people giving into this, people caving to this more than ever. Where it's like, okay, I guess I understand. People are afraid of losing revenue. They're afraid of losing viewership. They're afraid of something going wrong. And it's like, well, if you're willing to compromise your morals or your integrity that you're supposed to have, that you claim you have, you know, if you're willing to do that in the name of preserving your echo chamber, then did you ever really have morals and integrity in the first place? I'm going to say probably not. Probably not. And so, yeah. Anyway, sorry for ranting about that. It's just certain times of the year you see it a little bit more clearly, It becomes more prominent. That's true too, Hanzo. Yeah, that's very prevalent. That's always prevalent. Green Ninja knows. You're gonna go get regular food, no pineapple on pizza. The blue box audience will never abandon me. Well, that's absolutely true. Yeah, I definitely, I know they have my back, man. They'll never abandon me. Good times, bro. Good times. Okay. Sorry, I'm just going to check again if there's some kind of update on any of the topics we're discussing. Yeah, Shinobi, I don't think has said anything more, so we're just kind of going to be left to our own devices here to assume, take it for what it is. It makes sense if he was hinting at a state of play announcement tomorrow. I don't think he would give it away at this point. Just leave it be. Yeah, just leave it be. See, the Switch 2 is leaking out. It's all in the name of boss. It's more ethical, not so much moral. Yeah, you're right about that, Meet the Cheater. Yeah, that'd be a better way to describe it. The ethics of it all. Apocalyptic is saying you're just excited to see new games. Always love the summer showcases. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the attitude I'm going in with. I mean, I know for a fact, I've been watching these showcases long enough. There's 100% going to be a lot of games that I am not into, and I've accepted that. I'm going to see a lot of stuff that is just not my cup of tea. But you know what they say, one man's trash is another man's treasure, right? I always try to keep that in mind. No, I actually don't listen to that band, okay? I try to, I just can't. It's too much for me. Like, that's my limit of, okay, I like metal and I like different variations of metal, but that to me is it's too extreme for me. I just can't do it. Hells Us will have a limited time demo on Steam June 2nd and June 16th. Yeah, I saw that. It's a shame they couldn't get it on PS5. Check GameRank, GameSpot, Reddit. Well, on Twitter, I basically follow like as many outlets as I can because anytime they post on their websites, they usually post it on Twitter as well. But I check Reddit a lot. Sometimes I go to like PlayStation Lifestyle for stuff. No, never got into Behemoth. No. Yeah, it's there's just like I think like the most intense for me when it comes to metal bands is probably Lamb of God. And I know that's like on the lighter side compared to some other stuff out there. Michael, that's a good way to put it. Yeah. From our collective perspective concerning the announcement, we'll see. There you go. That sums it up. And that's it. That's the stream, guys. That should just be the title of my stream, just in quotes. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. You follow a lot of gaming news channels on YouTube. Surprisingly, I don't really I don't really follow many YouTubers or news channels on YouTube or anything like that. Honestly, I don't watch YouTube that much. Like I get tired of YouTube mainly because I do YouTube, you know? It's one of those things where I'm on YouTube so much that I just when I'm not making videos or streaming, I try to, or answering comments or something like that. Listen to Architects Animals. I feel like I've heard that, Corey. Is that wait, hold on. This might Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm not familiar with this band actually. I was thinking of a different group. I'll have to check them out. What are your thoughts on N4G? I love reading comments. There people always argue. I don't know. I don't spend any time there, man. I don't really have any thoughts on it, truthfully. Mastodon? Oh, I love Mastodon. I saw that Brent Hines left the band though, man, after 25 years. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, yeah, I love Mastodon. They pop up from time to time, Shems. I never watched them though. I don't know why. Like I just look at the thumbnail. I'm like, oh, that seems interesting, and then I just move on. Uh oh. Hmm. Okay. You should get some other perspectives. That's not so Sony driven. Oh, trust me, I do, Piper. Believe me, I do. I don't necessarily get them from I don't necessarily get them from like so here's the thing. I used to spend a lot more time listening to other podcasts and other streamers and just trying to soak in as many different opinions and I decided a while ago to stop doing that because it's having too much of an influence. Like I realized that it ultimately made me too reactive. And that does create a sense of entertainment on the channel, and that's fine. Like if I've had to kind of wrestle with this notion for a while where it's like, listen, man, you're either going to try to be more of an entertainer or an entertainment focused channel, or you're going to try to be more of a discussion based channel. And I had to ask myself, what do I enjoy more? And I enjoy sometimes, being silly and in the past, being entertaining and whatnot and leaning into that side. But I've realized that I actually enjoy like, you know, discussions and conversations and really kind of digging into certain things a lot more, than being silly and entertaining and always focused on the fun factor. Those things are important, absolutely. And again, we still do it from time to time, but I had to kind of make that call because there is that separating line is becoming more, you know, It's becoming more clear by the day that like you got to kind of decide which one you're leaning into. Infotainment. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Infotainment? It's better to be the ostrich with its head in the sand. See, I don't know about that though, because like I make sure not to. The whole idea is what I'm ultimately trying to go for here. Is not burying my head in the sand, so that way I'm like out of touch with what's going on or not in the loop. I do the opposite. I make sure I'm always in the loop. There are some times where I miss certain things, and that's normal. I can't be everywhere all the time. But it's about making sure that I'm just worried about the information, not the opinions. And that's the important part, where I think I've changed so much because I didn't realize that a lot, not all of it, but a lot of the times I would engage, it was reactionary. And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with that, but that's not satisfying to me. Like if I wanted to, truthfully, and trust me, I've thought about it and I have not done it because I realized that once you go down that road, you can't go back from it. It's very important. Like once you go down that road of I'm going to be a reactionary channel now, you cannot untie that from your channel. I mean, good luck. You could try and maybe it'll work, but 98% chance you're kind of locked in now. I've thought numerous times about, all these replies I get on Twitter. Every time I boot up Twitter, bro, and I'm not on the for me section, but I'm on the recommended section, and I see just they're trying to feed it to me, bro. They're like, look at this, look at this, look at what these people are arguing about, look at this. Like I'll give you an example. I'll give you a perfect example. I saw a post yesterday, and I know that me bringing it up is reacting in a way, but I'm just trying to let you know how easy it really is these days. I opened up Twitter at like 8:30 in the evening last night, and it automatically opened to the recommended section, and there was this post from and I'm not trying to purposely shout out a name because I don't know who this account is or what they are, but their name said it all. Their name was Official PC Master Race or something like that. And they had like 40 something thousand followers. And they posted this. It is kind of funny. Like it depends on how seriously you take it, It was kind of funny. But I'm like, oh yeah, you're okay. You're looking for a reaction. And it was a picture and it had PC at the top. And on PC it said GTA 6 first year, and it showed watching on a YouTube page. And then 1 year later, it put the official screenshot of GTA 6 of Lucia in the pool. And then below that, you had PlayStation, Xbox, Switch 2, and it had the same picture, but it was like super pixelated. And then it said like at launch 1 year later. And, it worked. I looked at all the replies and, people are getting worked up. People are looking at that as like a challenge, and people are getting all upset and people are fighting. And I almost chimed in. I was this close dude. I had it typed out and everything. But then I thought, what are you doing, man? Like, what are you doing? Like, the purpose of this post. There's nothing you can say. You're not going to be able to dunk on it. You're not going to be able to, you're either going to engage or you're not. And I decided not to. So I won't even say what I was going to say, but it was pretty funny. But this is what I mean, where it's like, I could take that right now. And I understand there are people who would want me to do this, where it's like, put that up on screen and react to it, bro. Come on, let's hear it. And I have to admit, like, it would be too easy. That's the content, bro. The content's right there. It's just that I don't do it because it's stupid. It's like I understand stupid can be entertaining, but it's like almost all the takes I see that could be easily used as content. It's just like I don't want to subject myself to it. and let alone anybody else to it, because not only am I shining a bright light on it and encouraging the stupidity indirectly, but that's not interesting to me. Like, that post is not interesting to me. And there's no, like, it's interesting in terms of if you want to create arguments and get a rise out of people and cause arguments with people, but the arguments always devolve into the same thing, which is my PC is better and your console sucks. And it's like, console's better and the PC is it's a stressful, expensive. It's like, what are you guys talking about? Like, play GTA 6 on console if you want, or wait for it on PC. Who gives a shit? That's the smart response, but you don't see that response. That response doesn't exist. And I could try to make it exist by being like, I'll say it. But by doing that again, I'm indirectly making myself a part of it, just like I am even talking about it right now. This is like a faux reaction, I guess you could say. But it's just a silly picture, MBG. I'm a rage out, bro. And yeah, that's the thing, man. I don't know. I'm just more interested in having direct communication with my audience and like-minded people and trying to delve a little bit deeper. But it happens sometimes. I still delve into it from time to time. There's nothing that can really be done about it. Hanzo, you're saying in quotes, never argue with stupid people. They will drag you down to their level and then beat you with experience. Where's that quote from? That's a good one. An anti-reaction? Oh, an unreaction. Dude, that's actually pretty funny. Holy shit, maybe I could make something out of that. Like, you remember the Homelander meme or whatever, where he's just sitting there watching in the movie theater, just with this face, this just like blank face. I could do that. Just everything I react to. Like, I'll call it like unreacting, anti-reaction. Unreacting, that's a good one. And then I'll just bring it up and just not say anything. It would be hilarious to not stream the Xbox showcase and instead watch an old PlayStation showcase at the same time. Really feed the PlayStation faithful. I mean, that's so extreme though, Could you imagine? There's something about that though. That's a pretty smart idea if I'm looking to, like, I don't know what it would achieve, but I feel like it would achieve something. I'm just not exactly sure what. Unreact to anime openings. Yeah, I'm just going to stare stoically at the camera. Mark Twain. Okay. That's a good one, Hanzo. I like that. My take is get in and then get out on a different account, then grab a beer and watch the results. Do you think it would piss people off? I think it would become a meme, bro. Like, that would straight up become a meme. No, Wes, I don't think that makes you a hater. You're saying you're honestly more excited for the Xbox show than PlayStation? No, I don't think that makes you a hater at all. I think there are a lot of people who feel that way, man. You think I would go viral? Yeah, for the wrong reasons. It's too easy these days, man. It's too, like, if I took even 1/8 of the ideas that some of you guys throw at me, we would probably be at 1 million subs right now. I just can't do it. I can't do it. I don't know if, like, we would be climbing, bro. Yeah, I played Returnal. Got the platinum for it. Great game. Loved it. Hated the collectibles though, the glyphs. Oh my god. That was the worst, bro. The glyphs were the worst. Do I want to be a meme? I mean, I've gotten pretty close to meme status before, bro. When I put that clown wig on. To a lot of people, I still am a meme. And that's fine. I maybe indirectly became a meme, but imagine the chat. Never acknowledge. Yeah, okay. I stream like the 2020 PlayStation Showcase or something, and or like the 2016 PlayStation Showcase, and I just never acknowledge the chat. I have to admit that would be funny, but I wouldn't be able to do that because I actually do want to tune into the Xbox show. DSP status? Oh, I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know about that. That's a bit much. Snake wig was your favorite? You know, looking back on that, I didn't like the way I looked because I didn't grow my beard out enough. I was too shaven, and it just looked... Yeah, I looked like a little kid. I'd go viral for sure. I mean, that's the thing, though, man. Like, for as funny as that sounds, and for as big of a boost that would give me, do I want, like, I'm trying to imagine how many new people would tune into my channel based on that. How would I, like, what do I do from that point? You know what I mean? Like, what do they expect from me going forward? Oh, man. Beat an Elden Ring boss blindfolded? Oh, God. E3 2016, bro. Microsoft's out here doing their showcase, showing off like Gears of War E-Day gameplay, and I'm like, got my bowl of popcorn, cosplaying as Snake again or some shit, freaking out, being like, yo, Kratos is back. Never acknowledge it and just do your regular streams. Oh my God, bro. Why is that so tempting, though? Why is that so tempting? That is super tempting because it is so funny. It is so funny because it's just like, what is wrong with this guy, bro? And then you know what would be funny about it is like, you would have people that would go with it, where people in the chat would start being like, yeah, bro, this is it. And it would create this insane image of like, oh my God, like they lost it, bro. Holy shit. You got these Xbox or these PlayStation fanboys that are skipping the Xbox showcase to go watch an old PlayStation showcase pretending like it's new. That's some funny shit. Man, I have to admit, it's tempting. It is tempting. I don't know if I could not break character though. That would be tough. That would be tough. I would have to ignore that. I would have to not put the chat up on screen. It would have to be some kind of exercise.
There is a new Shinobi combat trailer. Let's watch.
Shinobi. Hold on. Let me Oh, there it is. I'll bring it up. We could watch it. Oh, hold on. I have to resize this a little bit. I am streaming in 4K too, so damn, dude, this does look pretty good. Music's good too. You think it's boring? That looks pretty good. Let me bring my chat back up. I mean, I'm not huge in the side scrollers either, but it looks pretty solid. Let's I know what to do. Ready for that Xbox showcase, boys? Or that PlayStation showcase? Here we are. PlayStation Showcase 2025. Of this show is an hour and 17 minutes. Yo. It's getting crazy, bro. I don't know. Yeah, I'm feeling something. Oh, wow, you're saying you were tapped out of gaming at this time? God of War 2018 is what brought you back, ironically. That's funny. Man, they really played the whole thing, too. They really knew how to open a show, bro. They really knew how to open a show. The Yote bamboo flute. Oh wait, yeah, there was flute guy or whatever, and he is like some white dude, and people were like, "Why is he white? Why isn't he Asian?" And they're like, "He's like the best player in the world." Oh my god, dude, they're really going. It's like 4 minutes long. They're still going. I got the reveal, but from PlayStation Haven. You have the opportunity for an all-time troll doing the PlayStation Showcase reaction stream at the same time as the Xbox Showcase. I don't know, man. I think that's just like one of those things you can't go back from. Oh, here's where shit got real.
That dumb hammer doesn't scare
This
me.
is where shit got real, bro.
Oh
Boy. Boy.
God damn. Got Corey Barlog there. Dude, this was the good shit.
Knife. It belongs to you now.
Does the crowd know?
no. What for?
A test.
Reliving the pony dream.
She taught you to hunt, yes?
Yes, sir.
Then
This
show
has
me
to
what
be
you
like the
know.
best reveal ever.
I am hungry. Feed us.
And the crowd goes wild. It's very compressed.
You
Yeah.
are hunting deer.
Oh my god, dude.
Your hunt. You tell me.
South?
Is that a question?
South.
Yeah, this was like the craziest reveal, dude. It doesn't get any better than this. That's the problem. Like,
Look, tracks. They're fresh.
no matter what Sony does or any other, you know, showcase for that matter, there, like, it does not get any better than having a live audience in a theater, having the director of the game sitting there playing the game
Slow down, boy.
on a massive screen for everybody to see
You
with a
must
freaking
think.
live
Do
orchestra,
not
man.
simply
I mean,
react. Be calm and plan.
like, did anybody
I'm
who
not
put
used to hunting.
whoever decided to put this together, did they not take a second and think like, man, how are we gonna one up this in the future? It's like, you aren't. You can't.
There it is.
Hold. What are you doing? Now his guard is up. Only fire.
Damn, bro.
Fire. When I tell you to fire.
Let's see, what else did they reveal?
I'm sorry.
Do not be sorry.
Skip towards the end.
Beginning.
Yeah, dude, that has to be one of the all-time greatest reveals. Holy shit. They had a plan. It was called Conquer. Where do we go from here? Corey Barlog knew, bro. He's like, we did it. We did it, boys. No, I'm only
Please
skipping
welcome
through it
to the
because we,
stage,
you know,
Sean
don't want to spoil
Layden.
anything. Sean Layden. Good old Sean. Man, bro. He's like, yup.
Good
Yup.
evening. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. What a way to start the show, huh? With a live demo of God of War. Right now, also a special thank you and a shout out to our very talented composer
Sean Layden.
of the
Bam.
soundtrack to God of War, Mr. Bear McCreary.
Dude, it's so crazy. Yeah, Sean Layden got just like,
Here tonight with his awesome orchestra, and they'll
Oh
be
my God,
performing
and then
all
they showed
evening.
Days
So
Gone.
That's really exciting for all of us. Thanks.
yo, Days Gone followed God of
Before we go
War
any further, though,
in that order?
I think it's important that we take a moment to address the heartbreaking tragedies of Orlando this past weekend.
What's he talking about?
A horrific
I don't want to be talking about
We're delighted
past
to be here.
tragedies, bro. Come on.
on
This is,
PlayStation 4.
you know what? On second thought, maybe
Astound you with a lineup of games that are both dazzling and
maybe live
transformative,
shows were a mistake. I don't know.
with a few surprises along the way. So, without further ado, I'm proud to take you on this journey to some of the great games coming out on PlayStation 4. Please enjoy the show.
Might as well be in a completely different universe we live in. Yeah, I mean, you would. Yeah, I don't think you would see any. I mean, maybe like Jeff Keighley's still trying to do stuff like this. That's about it. That's crazy, bro. Why didn't I don't remember this.
If I remembered how it all went down.
I didn't
As
realize
if
they
it
showed
happened
Days
so
Gone
long
right after
ago
God of
that
War.
anyone
That's
could forget.
wild. Oh,
So
man.
yeah, I remember. I remember when our homes and our towns turned into graveyards.
I'm playing this right now,
When the
too.
wilderness became our only hope for survival. I remember when the planes fell out of the skies. When the trains
Boozer.
stopped running.
Booze, man.
When the turbines shut down.
Yeah.
And the world went
Deacon
dark.
St. John.
I remember when they put up the razor wire. Like it was gonna stop anything. When the feds ran out.
So good. The Last Guardian. Oh my god. Oh my god. I forgot. I gotta be honest, man. I forgot like how insane the show really was. Wow. That's only dude. By this point, you're only 20 minutes into the show.
Just finished Act 1 of Expedition 33. What in the hell is going on?
Oh, just you wait, Josh. I told you, right, bro? Right? The end of Act 1. No spoilers, but it gets crazier, man. It gets crazier. Yo, I never did play The Last Guardian. Muhammad's getting emotional, bro. Yo. I'm making people emotional. Back when Horizon was actually cool. Man, times have changed. People were hyped for this back then. Was this the first reveal of Horizon? So, oh my god, dude, Sony's... We are 22 minutes into the E3 2016 showcase. God of War 2018 opens. Then you reveal Days Gone. Then The Last Guardian. Then Horizon Zero Dawn. What? What? This is what I'm saying. Like, Sony doesn't do stuff like this anymore, man. They don't put on shows where they just show gameplay. Why don't they do that? And then after Horizon, they had after Horizon they have Detroit Become Human. Wow. Sony was off the chain. Yeah, Sony was nuts, bro.
It's been just over an hour since a little girl was taken hostage on the top floor of a building here in downtown.
Bro, I just got to Act 2 in Claire 33. Naughty Dog needs to take some notes because that's how it's done, bro.
But the hostage taker could be the family's Angelo. Negotiator on site.
MRPD, Claire Obscura Expedition 33 is still my game of the year.
Wait. You're sending an android?
The spooky thing is, this was like a third of PlayStation's life ago.
Why aren't you sending a real person?
So we got Detroit Become Human. What came after Detroit?
This is our story.
God, man, Sony just had banger after banger after banger. If you know, you know. Was it Resident Evil 7 was next? Full PSVR experience. Yeah, RE7. Wow. The timing, though. The timing, because we were just talking about RE9. Shadow Drop, the demo.
Everyone to enjoy VR in their own homes. And at PlayStation, we have a combination of the necessary processing and graphics power already built inside 40 million PS4s that have been sold worldwide.
Yo, hold on 1 second. You're telling me, you're telling me, yo, this is actually really fascinating to go back and watch. You're telling me Sony was putting on a show like this when they only had 40 million units out there? What? Yo. They show some PSVR 2 titles. Batman. Final Fantasy 15. Sorry, I'm like, is this Call of Duty? I have to skip a little bit because, like, I don't know, they're starting to play music and stuff, and I don't want to get copyright.
Crash Bandicoot will also appear
And now
first,
they don't.
on
This is
PlayStation
history,
4 this October
not modern
in
Sony.
Skylanders Imaginators. So let's have a look at that.
Yeah, I don't think we're going back to this, boys. I don't think it's happening. No music. This was.
Please join me in welcoming.
Yo, they had. This was when they had Kojima come on
In the
stage.
history of gaming.
What? Why do I not remember that? I forgot that this happened during the show. Yo, you know Kojima was eating this up, boy. He's like, hell yeah, bro. I'm back. House the goat. There's no more hope left.
Hello everyone. I'm back.
Damn, dude.
Today I bring something new. We move.
Dude, okay. Yo, Sony was going too crazy. Whoever devised this showcase wanted to actually murder Xbox. Because, like, you got Death Stranding being revealed and then Spider-Man. What the hell, dude? This was basically an entire first... No wonder why people hate State of Plays now. I forgot that when Sony did shows like this, dude, they didn't really have much third party. This was almost like, I mean, they had some Activision in there, couple, like they had like Resident Evil, Call of Duty, Lego Star Wars. Outside of that, bro, it was almost all first party and second party games. That's crazy. Now, to be fair though, like when they were doing this was what you would get for the entire year. But man, they were going crazy. The final reveal, I think, so they showed Death Stranding. Oh, there's Naked Norman. Perfect timing. And then they go into Spider-Man. Spider-Man had a pretty short reveal, I think. Wait. Yeah. Then they reveal Spider-Man. Then they do their... Oh, and then they ended with Days Gone gameplay. That's right. They had a whole Days Gone demonstration. Wow. And that's what wrapped it up. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know why I didn't remember that these shows, these E3 presentations that were like an hour, I guess they didn't need third party because third parties were busy doing their own shows, you know, all throughout E3. Good times, though, dude. Good times. Well, that was probably the worst possible thing I could have played prior to a potential State of Play announcement. Show sucked. Oh, yeah, they did do PlayStation Experience as well. They did. Damn, man. Well, yeah. Well, here we are, guys. RIP hyped PlayStation showcases. Yeah, back in the day, they had their own third party. or third party had their own showcases, basically. That's true. You're saying, Jack, you're saying, to be fair, most of the games they showed at E3 2016 wouldn't come out for another 2 to 3 years. Last Guardian came out in 2016, Horizon 2017, and then after that, the rest are all 2018 and beyond. That is true. That's a good point. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I still think it. I don't know. I don't know that. I don't think people are upset about that. The best PlayStation show is Newsbase. I'm sorry, Chris. I didn't mean to get you guys all depressed. Yeah, I don't know. Man. Maybe it'll be a good state of play. I don't know. All right. Let's go see if there's any update on that state of play, shall we? Nope, not seeing anything. Guess we'll find out. If it's going to happen tomorrow, I mean, I just hope it's a earlier announcement. Not depression, just nostalgia. Bro killed the hype. Shem, so Shinobi 602 was responding to somebody on Reset Era, and they were like, tomorrow's my birthday, so you know what that means. A state of play is coming. And then Shinobi 602 responded by saying happy birthday with a smiley face. And it has ignited a lot of speculation. A lot of people believe that he's hinting that a state of play is going to be announced tomorrow. And considering Jeff Grubb said last week that Sony is doing a show in June, there's all these rumors about Resident Evil 9 getting revealed this week. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully, if they are going to announce a state of play tomorrow, they do it early. Still remember after E3 2016, people were asking if Spider-Man is Insomniac. Where's the Sucker Punch project then? Yeah, we didn't even know about Ghost of Tsushima yet. Bro killed the hype. Well, this is what's interesting, right? Like, I think about Ghost of Yotei was revealed in September of last year. And then Saros was revealed in February of this year. And let's say Sony does do a state of play and they reveal Santa Monica's new IP. That's 3 new first-party games. If there wasn't a state of play and it was just one showcase a year, I mean, you would imagine those games would probably be, now check the best state of play show. Death Stranding 2 embargo lifted on June 23rd. Just announced. Well, that's concerning. Not concerning, but that's not bullish. Concerning is not the right word, but potential lack of confidence. Because the game comes out digitally on the 24th. So it's basically the day before. You think a 90 on Metacritic? That's a good point, Garrett. Yeah, very true. Yeah, I guess, I don't know. I wonder whose decision that was for the embargo, because you're right. You're saying Kojima let people play like 30 to 40 hours of the game for previews. That's very true. Forget what I just said. That negates the lack of confidence. You only let people play 30 hours of your game when you're very confident. I'm just surprised. I feel like Sony usually likes to do earlier embargoes. Yo, maybe Kojima goes nuts at the end. Like, too nuts. And that's why they're like, yeah, the first 30 hours are great. Just don't let him get to the end, bro. Oh my God, the ending is nuts in a bad way. Like, he just goes to, like, he takes it too far. Drew Raptor got a code. Was he the one who? Okay. Sony, hook me up, bro. No, actually don't, because if Sony were to drop Death Stranding on me right now, I'd be upset because I wouldn't be able to finish Days Gone. Yeah, we're gonna check that out. We'll probably react to that on Monday. We'll probably react to the Death Stranding stream on Monday, because it's happening the same day as the Xbox showcase, but like much later in the day. If Horizon Zero Dawn were to be announced as a new IP today, can you imagine how much rage there would be? Maybe he pulls a Last of Us Part 2 twist. I hope he takes it too far. That's why I love him. Bro wouldn't be streaming. I'd be playing nonstop. I mean, dude, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I would be very intimidated to review a game like Death Stranding 2 because of how long it is, where I'm like, I don't want to condense this into 3 weeks. Don't make me do that. I'll be honest, man, reviewing games is tough. It is, like, credit to people who are able to do it, like review a bunch of games. I can't imagine. Like, it's just so difficult to, like, I guess it depends on how much time you have for each game, but that's a tough one. Kojima can do no wrong. Well, guys, we'll do like a last call for any support, by the way. We're sitting at 27 members. If you guys want to drop any more member gifts or become a member or drop any more super chats or direct donations, now would be the time to do it. We're going to be wrapping this up in just a couple minutes. Draining? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. When I start playing Death Stranding 2, I mean, I'm going to be taking my good old time. I took my good old time with the first one. I'm going to be doing the same with the second. Taking my time with Days Gone, bro. Like, it only says I'm 72% complete. And I'm like, it has to be because I'm doing a bunch of side stuff. Because I'm like 40, 45 hours into the game or something like that. Not the first time Kojima switches the main character during the game. Maybe you play as Solid Snake. Legally compliant Solid Snake. Neil. Maybe that's what happens. Yeah, Shinobi 602 just posted it. Death Stranding 2 reviews will be live on June 23rd. See, I have to admit, too, like, that's what for a little bit, I've been missing this, man. On June 23rd, I'm going to be excited to do that stream with you guys and go over the reviews. If I was reviewing the game myself, I wouldn't be able to do that. So I'm looking forward to that. I missed that a little bit. And Kazjam comes in and drops a member gift on you guys. Kazjam's like, we got to get a little member train going here before the end of the stream, bro. We got to do it. Kazjam, thank you so much, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That brings us up to 28. We gonna do it? We gonna get a full-blown member train going, get to 50? or 30. 2 more, we could get to 30. We could do that. It's more tangible. If Sam Bridges died early on in Death Stranding 2, I would continue to play. It wouldn't affect me, but maybe others will get mad. Well, keep in mind, there is a scene in one of the trailers where he's older. He had like white hair and was kind of wrinkly or whatever, maybe the time fall. So I don't know. I don't know if they're going to do something like that. Kojima did say he wishes the game was more controversial. So I'm going to say he probably played it safe overall. Maybe he plays BB. Didn't Kojima suggest he wanted Death Stranding 2 to get more attention? Pulling a Naughty Dog switcheroo could do that. Yeah, but he said that the way he worded it was that, like, Death Stranding 2 is reviewing better, and he kind of wishes it wasn't, and he wishes it was more controversial, but Sony's pleased that it's reviewing better. So it sounds like he would have liked to go. You know what's interesting is he said he had to completely rewrite the story, and I wonder why. I wonder if it had something to do with that. Higgs hack and slash after 40 hours, obviously. I mean, I'm stoked for it, man. You know, my goal is to wrap up Days Gone remastered completely by the time Death Stranding 2 comes out. And then I could just focus on Death Stranding 2. All right, guys, should we wrap it up here? We're gonna try to get 2 more members to get it to 30. Should I change the goal to 30? We're gonna do it. Can we do it? And we'll close it out. I don't know. We could do it, bro. I believe in you. Well, I mean, yeah, that's the whole thing. Norman Reedus is probably expensive. You know, I don't think you want to kill him off.
RE10, Albert Wesker's origin story. Suck it, Wes.
RE10, Albert Wesker's origin story. Just what we needed, Prince G. Just what we needed. Also, he says, suck it, Wes. All right. IOI Interactive, June 6th. So I'm looking over the community. Unknown is number 1 with 350 XP. Pushing Polygons number 2 with 250 XP. Robert the Hammer number 3 with 250 XP. See what Wes wrote above. Hold on, let me see. He's catching strays in the super chats. Digital Dude says, Digital Dude, you have to drop 2 memberships because I'm going to read this. Days Gone 2, Return of the Freaks from Diddy's Freak Offs. Oh my God. It's so cursed because, yeah, they call the infected freaks and freakers. Wes, you're saying, come on, you know you want to laugh? Hold on. What did you say, bro? Oh my God, bro. I'm seeing all the stuff that's... Yo, Wes, you need to calm the F down, bro. Oh my God. It's not somebody deleting comments. It's YouTube. Dude, I'm reading what you're typing. YouTube is deleting your comments, bro. Wes, stop it right now. Oh my God. Calm down. No wonder why. De-escalate. De-escalate immediately. Shem says, give me XP now. Shem's is like, awkward. Yeah. All right. Guys, I've been holding out here for like 2 more memberships, and it ain't happening. So I think I'm just gonna have to wrap it up, bro. 28's still solid. But, you know. You know, I almost just made a joke, Digital Dude, that I definitely shouldn't make. And I'm glad I thought about it before I made it. So, we'll wrap it up here, man. I'm entering territory that I'm going to get in trouble. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Member stream this week. You know, we'll try to do something. We'll try to do something this week. It's been a while. Trying to think. It's an extreme, like, I don't want to promise anything this week because this week's going to be crazier than usual. Both in my personal life and YouTube. We'll see if we can do something. Deacon Saint Diddy. Okay, that's it. That's we're out. We are out. Digital Dude, you owe me like 5 memberships next stream for making me read that. Hanzo. Okay. Digital Dude, I think Hanzo may have one up to you. Diddy St. Johnson. Okay. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning into my stream. I'm out here rolling like a middle manager in Google. I know, right? What's going on, man? What happened? I thought this was supposed to be freedom. Freedom from that. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with me and tuning in. Also want to thank everybody for dropping membership gifts, super chats, direct donations. If you became a member, really appreciate that support. I can only do what I do here because you guys make it possible. I did put a video out earlier covering the topics we covered here in the stream. If you want something that's more easily digestible and more concise. We should be back here tomorrow. It'll be really interesting to see if we get this announcement tomorrow. And yeah, we got some exciting things obviously coming up later this week. So also want to give a shout out to Devil Shooter, who does the timestamps for the streams. So if you see him in the comments, give him some thanks, show him some love. I know he does great work for the community here. And thank you for what you do, Devil Shooter. And that's it. So guys, enjoy the rest of your day. We will be back here tomorrow, hopefully with another stream. And yeah, that's it. So, all right, guys, till then, take care.